Welcome back to the Atlanta studio. Ernie Johnson along with Chuck Daly. Game 2 of our doubleheader is coming right up, the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. You know, we talked to Dan Issel earlier, got a big smile, everything's going great, they're in the second round. But the fun stops sometimes when you get a guy like Karl Malone staring down at you.
Well, he and Stockton and Malone in the pick and roll. Stockton might be as clever a guard as there is in the league at coming off one dribble, two dribbles, knowing when to release the ball. And Malone is probably playing as well as I've ever seen him play. Long-range shooting. I think he's got special incentive this year.
Dikembe Mutombo has really been a force. 31 blocks in that Seattle series. How do you get around Mount Mutombo when you face Denver?
Well, I think you got to keep going right at him. Foul problems could be interesting tonight. There's some talk of changing matchups. If he wouldn't match up against Malone, there could be some early foul problems on one or the other, which could change the scenery and fabric of this game.
It's Game 2 from Salt Lake City, Denver and Utah. It's coming right up on TNT. You keep it right here. Our doubleheader on the NBA playoffs continues.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. By Jeep and Eagle, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. And by AT&T, the official telecommunications company of the NBA.
From the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, it's Game 2 at a Western Conference Semifinal between the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. The Jazz leading this best-of-7 series 1-0. Hi again, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. The Utah Jazz have now won 4 straight playoff games. That's a franchise record. And Jack Gibbons, right now, Utah's playing their best basketball of the year.
You know, we've talked a lot about the Denver Nuggets on the defensive end of the floor, and lost in all this is the fact that the Jazz have done a great job on defense as well. Particularly here in the last 4 ball games that they have won, they have held their opposition to under 85 points per game, 39% from the field, and 16 of the last 18 periods they kept the offense for the opposition under 20 points a game. That's great. They control the defense. They keep the score down to where they like it.
Well, the Denver Nuggets, the NBA's surprise team. They were kind of out of sync in Game 1. As Dan Issel said, we were mentally tired. We were out of whack. Jerry Sloan keeps talking about how tough it is to put away this Denver team because they play such good defense.
Well, and if you think back to that series against Seattle, the first game they played pretty much the same way, but they made great improvements from Game 1 to Game 2. Look for them to do that here again. They're very good on the defensive end of the floor. Not only Mutombo, but all 5 guys out there play hard.
LaFonso Ellis needs a big game tonight for the Denver Nuggets. They say he's the next Karl Malone, but it's been the mailman that's been shutting him down.
Yeah, I think you're right. He has a healthy dose of respect for Karl Malone, but he's going to have to come on and play big here in this game tonight. Look, he has just 7 field goal attempts in the last ball game. He needs about 15 shots in order to get his numbers up to where they need to be.
Well, it sounds like a 4th of July, but it is going to be Game 2 instead. Utah very tough at home. They've won 22 of the last 24 at the Delta Center. We'll be back with the start of the game in just a moment. Game 2 in this Western Conference Semifinal between the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. And here's tonight's Jeep Eagles starting lineups.
Well, we'll look first at Ellis against Malone. Of course, that is one matchup that the Jazz have won pretty handily all season long, but in Game 1, Malone really took it to him, so Ellis is going to have to step up. I think Brian Stith is going to have to get some points on the board also for the Denver Nuggets. They need his offense. He's good everywhere else, but they need his offense.
45-year-old Dan Issel in his second year as coach, an 18-win improvement over 2 years. He said the toughest thing he's found out about coaching is when to kick somebody in the rear end and then when you should hug them. But he's learning that very quickly as he directs this surprising Denver team. And Jerry Sloan, a guy who could even up his playoff record with a victory here tonight. He comes in here at 21-22. He has coached the Jazz to 5 51 seasons. Mike Mathis, Jim Clark, and Ron Garrison, the 3 referees. And this crowd is at a fever pitch, and we haven't even started.
Well, I think this crowd understands that this is a very important game. The Jazz need to come out here and to win this ball game, go to Denver up 2-0. It's a tough place to win over there. This crowd knows that.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf comes up with the opening tip. Here's Bryant Stitt, the man you talked about, that needs to pick it up as far as scoring is concerned. From the corner, Mahmoud, and that could get him started. He scored very well in the regular season against Utah, averaged over 19 points a game. He had 16 the other night, but did not shoot all that well.
Well, he was 5 for 12, but showed signs of coming alive offensively. He had 19 points a game against the Jazz over the regular season.
Reggie Williams comes up with it. Back it comes LaFonso Ellis.
See how physical this game is early.
Look at Stockton strip the ball from Mahmoud. Stockton then is fouled by Bryant Stitt. It hits his head as he goes sliding into the backstop. I think he'll be all right. You know, Mahmoud looked like he twisted something after the ball was stripped from him, and he's kind of walking it off right now. He's in a little bit of pain.
He's shaking it off. One thing Dan Issel said he wanted from his team, and I think it is evident on that play, is a lot more physical action early in this ballgame.
And Stockton ducks inside, and Stockton playing so well in the playoffs. He's shooting 50% for the field, and he's missed only one free throw in the first 2 rounds of play thus far.
Dan felt that the officials gave the Utah Jazz the benefit of calls early because they did take the action to the Nuggets.
Boy, there was an excellent job of freeing up Ellis. Malone could not fight through the pick, and Ellis had the open shot.
Mutombo put his body on Karl Malone and freed up his teammate. Ellis needs to get going. We talked about that in the open.
He scored only 15 points in the last 2 meetings between these two. He had 11 on Tuesday night. Felton Spencer inside, and he's fouled. Felton Spencer looks like he may have caught something in the face or the eye area.
Guess what? Mutombo's elbows, I would think, swinging around and probably got him unintentional. Felton Spencer knows to expect that, and he shakes it off.
Look at this. This is interesting. They had as many fouls as field goals in that game Tuesday night. There were 64 fouls called in the game.
Both teams complained a little bit that they thought the game was called a little bit too closely for playoff action. One thing that they both were expecting was that the officials would let it be a little bit more physical, not call it as close. I think they'll let them play a little bit more here tonight.
There were 7 guys in that game that had 5 fouls on them. 4-3 now. The Nuggets with the early advantage. A little better start than Tuesday when they dropped behind 8-0 early. Mahmoud trying to get it into Ellis. You see Malone, that big body, which really gives Ellis trouble. The second-year man from Notre Dame backing in on Karl. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Stitt deflected by Hornacek. Ahead it comes to Stockton. Stitt was very reluctant to take a shot, and he maybe should have, and then threw it away. That ball will be off at Denver, and it will be Utah's.
So the problem with making that extra pass sometimes against the Utah Jazz is they're so good at anticipating on the weak side. So that one pass gives them another opportunity to come up with a steal.
There's the reach in by Reggie Williams, and then a foul as they come up the floor, and they're going to call that foul on John Stockton, who tried to steal it back, so Stockton picks up his first.
Reggie Williams with the long arms got a hand on that, and Stockton trying to come back up with the loose ball, grabbed his jersey.
Reggie Williams has led Denver in steals the last 2 seasons. The captain, the 30-year-old man, the oldest man on this ball club. This team averages just over 24 years of age and 2.14 years of experience. Mutombo, the little jump hook. Oh, that's a nice-looking shot.
In game 1, they doubled on Mutombo every time he touched the ball to try to take the ball out of his hands. That time they allowed Felton Spencer to play him one-on-one.
Mutombo had 20 points Tuesday. That was a career playoff high for him to go with 10 rebounds and 4 blocks. 9:30 to go, first quarter, 6-3, Denver. Malone from outside, rebound by Reggie Williams. Tyrone Corbin hits the deck, has trouble getting up. As Mahmoud on the move, he shakes. Stockton can't get it. Ellis follows him. LaFonso Ellis with 2 baskets early. That's got to help his confidence.
Yeah, I think it's important for him to stay active. He's going to pick up some opportunities out of the floor of the offense, but he can also get to the offensive boards as he did that time. It's okay to respect Karl Malone, but you have to come out and challenge him.
Thus far, Dan Issel's getting what he wanted, a more physical team, and the team playing with some confidence as Ty Corbin hits a 2. He had 10 points Tuesday, which matched his entire output for the first round in those 4 games against San Antonio.
Shot the ball horribly in that first round, but he came out, played big in game 1 here.
8-5, Denver with the lead. 8:43 to go in the first quarter. Stitt has Tyrone Corbin get a piece of it, goes out of bounds. They're going to have only 5 seconds now on the shot clock.
Now, Ellis, as I say, he needs to make sure he stays active, and you'll see him right here beat Malone as he goes for the block attempt to the offensive boards. the easier the basket for him, the better his confidence is going to be as this game goes on.
Again, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Mutombo is going to put it up. Rebound by Tyrone Corbin. John Stockton is averaging 10.8 assists a game. That's leading the entire playoff picture. Threw that one away. And that's very seldom you see Stockton not on the button with his passes, but that was behind Hornacek.
But the Jazz like to pick their opportunities to run the fast break. They're known as a half-court team, but when that break is there, they will take it. They do not turn it over very often.
No, they don't. They average 14.5 turnovers a game. That was second fewest in the NBA. As you see, they already have 3. That graphic just a moment ago. Stiff with a 2. Rebound cleared by Hornacek. Now, the last 2 times down the floor, they haven't really gotten a good look at it.
Well, the Nuggets doing a good job getting back on defense. You saw the deflection right there.
The up-tempo game really favors Denver. Utah will be content to be in that half-court game all night long. Corbin misses. Ellis mistimed the jump. Spencer can't get it. Mutombo rips it down, and then Corbin gets it away from him. And Mahmoud eventually gets it. Good effort by Utah, but didn't produce a basket. And Mahmoud, a blocking foul on Stockton. That's his second.
Well, I thought Stockton was in pretty decent position that time. Mahmoud had made his mind up at half court that he was going to take the ball to the basket. Jerry Sloan didn't like the call. And look at Stockton right there. I don't know if he can get any better positioning than that, but that's a huge break for the Denver Nuggets.
Well, they're going to have to take Stockton out, and coming in is Jay Humphries, and Humphries is very questionable coming into this game. He's going to try it, but he has a sprained right knee, and he didn't even practice since the game on Tuesday. He talked to him before the game. He says, I'm just okay. He didn't sound very enthusiastic, did he?
Well, you'll see them try to challenge him early, and I would give the ball to Mahmoud, let him put the ball on the dribble to see how his lateral movement is going to be.
8-5, Denver with the lead. 7:30 to go, first quarter. Mutombo trying to take Felton Spencer in. Boy, when he gets going towards the basket, those long strides, he gets there in a hurry, and Spencer commits the foul.
The Jazz picked up a lot of fouls in game 1 trying to double up on Mutombo, and here they're allowing Spencer to take him one-on-one. Corbin comes back in there and gets a hand on him, but it looks as though Denver's going to give this guy opportunities to score since they are playing him straight up.
So it is Corbin with the reach-in foul. Mutombo, not a good free throw shooter. He did not shoot well during the regular season at 58%. Mutombo, look what he did in the last 25 minutes. He got a couple of fouls early, was out of the game, but came on strong.
Well, he's been bothered by the flu. He said he had a hard time warming up in that game. His hands, he said, felt cold that whole first half, and he was having trouble with fumbling the ball around, but he finally got loosened up.
Corbin's going to challenge Mutombo. Mutombo just stayed back and let him take it to the hole. Humphries keeps it alive. Baseline is Tyrone Corbin.
Well, Corbin has been very active. We talked about him struggling in the first series against the San Antonio Spurs, but he has been there and was a key figure in that run that the Jazz made in the third period to kind of blow this game out in game 1.
So Corbin has had a good second round, playing well Tuesday as well as tonight after struggling in that 4-game series against San Antonio. Reggie Williams misses. Mutombo tries to come down with it. Karl Malone saved it. Then he kicked it off of Mutombo. It'll be Utah's ball. We've got a timeout, 6:49 to go in the first quarter. Denver leads it by 2. Back at the Delta Center, Gary Bender, Goose Gibbons, and let's take a look at the shooting statistics. Denver with an early advantage of 2, and you can see the Nuggets shot well early in that game, even though they fell behind early in the ball game.
Well, I think it's more important tonight that they have the Jazz down in the field goal percentage, because they wanted to come out, establish a more physical game early, and that is forcing the Jazz to shoot it at 33% so far in this game.
Jeff Hornacek, Tyrone Corbin, Karl Malone, Jay Humphries, and Felton Spencer. That's a 5 in there now for Jerry Sloan. Hornacek, who had 15 points the other night. Rebound cleared by Mutombo, ripped away. That's twice now, but they've gotten the ball away from the 7'2" center.
Well, I talked about his hands being cold, he said, in game 1. He's had trouble holding on to it early in that game. Maybe the same problem here in this ball game.
Hornacek leaves it for Humphries. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Ellis over the head to Mahmoud. Abdul-Rauf takes it into the hole and got it, and a foul on Jay Humphries. That was not easy. He had to locate the ball and the presence of mind then to take it in with a defender draped all over it.
Well, see, against Seattle, the Nuggets had to go to the half-court offense. They had to slow things down. Now, this is the way the Jazz want them to play, so they're going to have to find a way here in this series to get more early opportunities. It has to come through the defense or giving up just one shot at the basket to the Utah Jazz.
This guy has led Denver in scoring the last 2 years, but in that first round, he only averaged 9 points a game. He's picked it up in the second round with a performance the other night of 16, but still not shooting like he's used to shooting. Hornacek, that's a shot you've seen him hit many, many times. 12-9 now. Denver, Mahmoud on the move.
But it looks as though he's putting the pressure on Humphries, and look at him. He's down on his
Humphries
knees.
is in pain.
He is in a lot of pain. He needs to put it on the floor.
Humphries got a piece of it. Tyrone Corbin ahead to Humphries. Humphries,
he just can't go.
He is really suffering, but he still is able to hit that shot despite the pain.
Well, you could tell he wanted to chase that down and take it to the basket. And Jerry Sloan giving him a real serious look over there on the bench. Humphries, a competitor. He has been here before. He's going to try to go as long as he can.
Stockton on the bench with 2 fouls is the reason Humphries is in there. Malone with the rebound ahead to Jay Humphries. Humphries has just had a brilliant playoff. He had a 25-point game against San Antonio. He's been shooting the ball extremely well. And now we have 3 seconds in the lane against Utah.
Now just take a look at Humphries right here. And look at him, he can't go as hard as he wants to, so he can't chase that down. Still, though, collects himself, knocks down the jumper.
Well, I guess a shooter doesn't let pain bother him, right?
Well, I tell you what, one thing for certain, that shot going down makes that knee feel a whole lot better.
The Nuggets by 1, 12-11, 5:09 to go in the first quarter. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Spencer trying to stay out of foul trouble. He missed over 19 minutes of the game the other night with foul difficulty. There's a pass inside. Tyrone Corbin is upset about the foul call as they got it into the paint once again.
You know, I think that's a much better strategy, allowing Felton Spencer to play Mutombo straight up. Number one, it forces Felton Spencer to keep his concentration in that matchup. He picked up some early fouls because he knew he had help coming. Here he keeps his concentration. He just needs to body up against him, force him to shoot it a little bit farther out. He's done well in that area so far.
Well, they always say the second game of the series is the adjustment game, and we're seeing some of those adjustments unfold here as David Benoit now will come in for Tyrone Corbin. Corbin played very hard. He had 4 points. Also 3 rebounds, but he picked up his second foul and has to sit down. So both Stockton and Corbin now with 2 fouls each.
You know, they're not losing a whole lot with the way Benoit has been playing, though. He had a tremendous, I mean, just an excellent first series for the Jazz. He has been playing very well.
Humphries still playing on that knee. He missed some games earlier this year with the knee difficulty. And he hurt the knee late in the game Tuesday, not able to practice. And it was a game-time decision whether he would go here tonight. Hornacek, nice pass to Benoit. He changed the shot. Felton Spencer with a follow.
He's been doing an excellent job going to the basket, picking up the garbage stuff. He shot 5 for 5 in the last game simply because he's active around the basket.
He is so steady. He's right at his seasonal averages in scoring and rebounding. He has just been so dependable for this Utah team. It's tied at 13. Reggie Williams using his height advantage over Hornacek. Reggie 6'7", shoots it over Hornacek, gives the Nuggets a 2-point lead.
He's had some real good looks at the basket. He has to start knocking those down. Good to see that one go.
Karl Malone inside, and Malone off balance, tried to throw one up. Out it comes now to Reggie Williams. He is 0 for 3 from the field now. Mahmoud missing. And we're going to have a foul. It's going to go against Denver.
And Mahmoud upset with himself. He hasn't had a whole lot of wide open shots in the playoffs. He had that one, just could not get it to go down.
The foul is on LaFonso Ellis, his first. Rebounding-wise, that was a real problem for Denver in Game 1, and it looks like it may be a problem again.
Well, the games they've won, they've rebounded very well.
Boy, the second chance points really hurt this Denver team. It was 21-8 on Tuesday night. Here's Felton Spencer, stripped by Mutombo. Out it comes now to Karl Malone. Very difficult shot. Good defense. But Mutombo, again, he just can't hang on to the ball tonight.
He's just struggling to come up with the rebounds. He has been in position time and time again. And you see the Jazz continue to get second chance opportunities.
3 seconds now on the shot clock. 3:32 to go in the first quarter. Hornacek clears.
Nice out of bounds play.
A veteran, 8-year veteran out of Iowa State. Proud new papa of Abby Abigail, who he had along with his wife Stacy a week ago Tuesday. 15 all, 3:17 to go in the first quarter. Ryan Williams comes into the ball game now. He has been a rebounding force for this Denver team. He had 19 rebounds in Game 5, which is a Denver record. Mahmoud thought he was fouled. The ball goes out of bounds, and with 1 second on the shot clock, Denver's got to get the ball. Mahmoud is doing a lot of complaining right now.
Well, and the official's not listening to any of it. I think he's more upset with himself, although he does feel as though he got fouled right there.
He may have a legitimate beef on that one, and it comes in with 1 second. Felton Spencer, now they're going to have to bring it back. The shot clock expired, and in the estimation of Mike Mathis, it expired before there was a breakout by the Utah Jazz.
And Jerry Sloan bites his tongue and turns and goes the other way because he knows Mike Mathis is always in control of the game, very, very quick to whistle a technical foul if you try to show him up. Jerry understands that. He goes the other way, although he would have liked to have had Hornacek land the ball in wide open.
Abdul-Rauf will come out of the ball game now. He's 2 of 6 for 5 points, and Robert Pack, the energizer, if you will, the guy who just up-tempos everything, who had that 23-point game in the clincher against Seattle. Pack was a little out of control Tuesday night, but boy, is he fun to watch.
Yeah, but I think the real thing right here that you look at as he is going to be guarded by Jay Humphries is whether or not Pack can break him down, put some pressure on him to move laterally, use that knee, and try to get to the paint.
In low to Malone, blocked by Mutombo.
And he does hold on to
have a foul as they try to wrestle it away as he hangs on to that one all the way.
You saw how certain he was of himself, and he wanted to be sure that he came up with this basketball, didn't want to lose another one. You'll see Mutombo come from the weak side. Spacing is important. He comes up with it and forces the foul on Karl Malone.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
We're tied at 15 in this first quarter of Game 2. The Nuggets looking much stronger in the early going. When you try to categorize Denver, one area that you can tell whether they're going to play well is in the rebounding department. Look at these numbers.
Well, in the 3 wins, you see what they did. They out-rebounded the opposition. Almost 14 rebounds, and losses an 11 rebound per game deficit. So yes, rebounding is important. A lot of those 13 plus come on the offensive end, which gives them extra opportunities, and that led to their points per game. You see the increase there.
Look at that with Stockton on the bench. Outscored Denver 10-7. In the rebounding right now, it's the Jazz with an 11-6 lead as Mutombo at the free throw line. This is not a good free throw shooting team. They shot 72% during the regular season. That was a franchise low, even though Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf led the entire NBA in that department.
So that tells you a whole lot of people on the team didn't shoot well.
Mutombo gets the second half of it, and Denver with a 1-point lead. 2:45. Gary Bender, Goose Gibbons from the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. Jazz coming in here with a 1-game lead, and they have won 4 straight playoff games. Jay Humphries is fouled as he gets that one up, and Humphries came down kind of awkwardly again. You can tell he doesn't want to put a lot of pressure on that leg.
Well, yeah, you'll see him go up here. The pick and roll was something that the Jazz ran almost all night against the Nuggets in Game 1, and you'll see Pack just give him a little push to the midsection. He tried to come down on his good leg, and still that knee is giving him trouble.
The foul is on Robert Pack. Jay Humphries, veteran from the University of Colorado, who's had that brilliant playoff series. We show you the numbers. 12.4. He had a high of 25, a career playoff high. Much better than the regular season. He started 19 straight games after they traded Jeff Malone to Philadelphia for Hornacek, and then Jeff has been the starter since, as Utah's taken their first lead of the ball game, 17-16.
Well, a lot of people complained that Jay Humphries was still in the lineup, and they thought that Hornacek should be starting. But Jerry Sloan wanted him to be ready for the playoffs, and that's why it took so long for him to make the change.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Mutombo looked like he was going to try that roundhouse sweeping hook. Ellis,
nice.
And Ellis now has hit 3 buckets. And this is the guy they think will be the next Karl Malone, and he has been sensational this year. He is 3 of 3 tonight for 6 points.
He's more aggressive on offense. That's the real key. He needs to get more shots up at the bucket board.
Minute 58 to go on the first quarter. Humphrey drives inside. Rebound comes out to Ellis. They love to up-tempo. They love to run. 3 on 2. Reggie Williams. Boy, when they get out, their athleticism and their exuberance of youth is something to watch.
Fast break opportunities. They have to take advantage of them when they get them, because they don't get a high number of those chances to get the easy baskets.
So the Nuggets now have taken a 3-point lead after Utah had gathered their first lead of the night. Malone missing. Karl Malone not looking that strong in the early going here. He's 0 for 5 from the field.
He's been under pressure every time he's touched the ball.
Minute 22 to go. First quarter. Pack now setting it up. Here is a free agent find. They got him from Portland for a second-round draft pick after the Blazers had gotten him as a free agent. And what an addition he's been. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Reggie Williams.
Tough shot.
Yeah, it is. And, Brian Williams covers up for that one.
Well, look at the lineup on the floor for the Nuggets. They said they would go big. They're giving Williams, Mutombo, and Ellis opportunity to play together, and they've been better on defense and more physical because of that.
And now, after losing the lead, the Nuggets are on a 6-0 run. 22-17 Denver. Jay Humphries, this is a 3. Out it comes to Hornacek. Hornacek with a strong first quarter. To Humphries again, another 3. Robert Pack, this is what he likes best. He's getting out in the open floor, and with his athleticism.
Really nice. And see, Humphries just couldn't move laterally that time, and Pack hesitated just enough to give him a chance to get planted, and then he made the quick move to the paint.
Biggest lead of the ball game for this young Denver team. They are something to watch. What a future they have. The Kitty Core, a team that's going to be around for a few years and cause havoc in the league. Here's Benoit. He's going to try a 3 and hits it. David Benoit doesn't shoot that many threes.
Well, I think what Denver is trying to do right now is take away the high pick-and-roll opportunities. They're sending Ellis a long distance, and it's leaving people open.
Benoit's 2 of 3 in the playoffs from three-point land. Williams stops the breakaway by Hornacek and stops the clock with 1.6 seconds left in the quarter.
Now, the thing Pack has to make sure that he does here, as you look at Reggie Williams picking up the foul, is not get in too much of a rush. When the Nuggets were good in game 1, he was handling the ball, making good decisions. When the Jazz made the run, he kicked it away a couple times. He has to protect against that in this game.
Jeff Hornacek, a veteran in the playoffs, missing it only last year when he was in Philadelphia. This guy led the Suns in scoring in 91 and 92, went to the All-Star game, 31 years old. Celebrated his birthday last week. And this was the guy that Karl Malone lobbied for to get in Utah to make their run. And a lot of people feel this will be a great opportunity as the NBA title apparently wide open.
Well, they feel like all the role players are in place here. Everybody doing their job, and Karl Malone thinks this is their year.
And so we played 1 quarter. The Nuggets front line getting the better of that first quarter, outscoring the Jazz 15-7, and Denver with a 2-point lead after 12 minutes of play.
Fast break opportunities are going to be a real key in this ball game for the Denver Nuggets. The Jazz so good in their half-court defense, and you'll see it right here. Since Pack has come into the ball game, the pace has picked up. He does a good job of getting the ball to Williams here, and then for the most part, since getting the extended minutes in the playoff series, he's made good decisions in the open floor. Now watch, he's going to get Humphries to kind of plant right here, and then he's going to take the ball right to the hole. They'll need all of this they can get in this series with the Jazz.
Well, the Jazz not shooting well as opposed to game 1 when they came out at 55%. They're shooting 35 tonight. Denver, on the other hand, look at their numbers, 53. And Malone, Do you feel Karl looks a little tired here in the early going?
Looks just a little tired, but the real key, I think, is how much pressure he's been under every time he's touched the ball.
Benoit tries another three. Hit one earlier. Here comes Brian Stiff, who's back into the ball game. Stiff with the left-handed shot.
Williams again.
Boy, he is just a follow-up guy. That's twice now. He has just almost brought the goal down.
Had 17 rebounds in Game 5 against Seattle, and here he is getting to the offensive boards tonight.
26-22, Denver underway now in the second quarter play. Stockton has come back in, and Williams with the rebound. That's his third already. Robert Pack, you got to stop the ball when he goes. If you don't, you get in trouble.
Well, he's doing the right thing. He's not looking for anyone to pass to. The Jazz with quick hands will deflect a lot of those or come up with the steal. He's taking it right to the hole.
28-22, Denver. Denver improved so much from Game 1 to Game 2 in the first round, and they've done it here in the second round. You can see a different intensity, a different confidence. Let's go back to that follow by Brian Williams and just listen.
He plays with a lot of emotion.
4 seconds on the shot clock as we come back. Stockton misses again. Chambers is coming to the ball game. Can't keep it alive. Stiff has it. Well, they said it's all gravy being here in the second round. No pressure on this Denver team, and they're playing like they're having a little bit of fun here tonight.
Well, I like what Dan said. That doesn't mean we don't want to win.
Mutombo, a little jump hook. Rebound by Malone.
Look for Malone to get the ball here in this possession.
Malone with his 4th rebound, still looking for his first points of the night. And Jay Humphries gets Brian Stiff on his back. Tried the continuation, he would have had the basket had it gone. That's the second now on Brian Stiff.
Well, this guy wasn't even going to play in this game tonight. Fortunately, he is okay. Stockton picked up 2 early fouls, so he was forced into action a little bit sooner than Jerry Sloan wanted, but he has shown his experience against a younger Denver team.
In the playoffs, Humphries is 8 of 11 from the free throw line. You can see the numbers he had in Game 1. And again, that huge 25-point game in Game 2 in the Alamo Dome against San Antonio. 28-23, Denver. Jay Humphries will get a chance this weekend to return close to where he matriculated in Boulder, Colorado, University of Colorado this weekend.
And he says sometimes that's not good because you come in there in the playoffs and everyone's calling for tickets, and it puts a lot of pressure on him. And he's really more busy there than he is on the games here. So he's looking forward to it, but he's not all that excited.
It's like when you go home. I know people just won't leave you alone. Here's Brian Williams inside of Mutombo. That ball gets away, and Dikembe again just having a tough time catching the ball tonight.
He's just not sure of himself when it comes to catching that basketball. Now he's thinking about it so much that makes it even tougher.
9:57 to go in the first half. Nice pump fake by Denver. Oh, he is so athletic. He's so much fun to watch.
Well, he gets up off the floor. Look at Pack. Whoa,
Pack pressing the envelope, and Brian Stiff finishes it off. The assist going to Robert Pack. He's always pushing the issue, always forcing everything. And Utah's calling timeout, and Jerry Sloan does not like the way this game is going.
Well, it's a 20-second timeout, and what you see here is Pack taking the ball to the basket even after made shots. So he's pushing it up and not enabling the defense to get set.
We have a full timeout, so we're going to go away.
We now go to a full.
Benoit does a real good job of challenging Mutombo here in the middle, but watch what happens after the made shot. You'll see the Jazz getting back. Now, if you stop it right here, and let's get a look at the defensive players. There's 1, 2, 3. They're converting back here to the paint area, and still Pack is going to penetrate and lay it off right here to this player that's going to get the basket. Very quickly, they're getting back down the floor, and Stiff is going to knock it in.
Well, the fast break points being engineered by the Pac-Man, Robert Pack, in the early going. Look at that, 10 fast break points. And that's that up-tempo style, and Pack can do it very, very well. Stockton baseline, reverses it, got it.
And he wanted to bump. Mutombo did a good job of just backing off, allowing Stockton to have that one. But you have to challenge the shot blocker. He did it that time.
John Stockton now with 4 points in the ball game, a 2-point lead for Denver. 9:17 to go in the first half. Into Brian Williams. This is is that big lineup. We get Malone on Williams, which will help LaFonso Ellis. Rodney Rogers, long three-pointer, not there.
And Humphrey steps on the line, probably should have let it go. Instead, he tries to chase it down and steps out of bounds.
So Denver will get it back. At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll be selecting the Budweiser player of the game, and Budweiser will donate $1,000 on his behalf to the United Negro College Fund. As we come back in, 9:05 left in the first half. This Utah team has won 22 of the last 24 games at the Delta Center. There's Humphreys on an errant pass, saving it inside, and there's a reach-in foul on Brian Williams, spotted by Mike Mathis.
Well, this is how the game was called in game one. It was called very close, and Brian Williams comes over here trying to get the ball. You're just not going to get it from Stockton. You need to retreat, get on back, and you see him grab him right there, and that's where the foul was called.
That is the second team foul against the Nuggets. Utah has not committed a foul in this quarter. Stockton missing again. Rebound by Dikembe. That is 4 for the 7'2" native of Zaire. Here's Pack with a 2.
Well, if they can make that shot right there, if they can make that little jump shot, they've been getting a lot of it. That's going to really keep the pressure on the Jazz to come out and guard everyone.
John Stockton is 2 for 5 shooting. Malone is 0 for 6. Corbin is 2 for 5. And they're in the 30 percentile because of that. Here's Malone looking for his first field goal.
And that's the first time he has shot the ball without a hand in his face, and it comes against Mutombo.
And he has been having monster games. He is third in scoring in the playoffs with a 28.4 average. And for him to get his first basket and still be tied with Denver has to be encouraging for Jerry Sloan. Here's Brian Williams, a left-handed shot. That might be out a little further than he is capable of being consistent.
Yeah, not really the shot you want him taking.
Chambers saved by Benoit, and Brian Williams comes down with the defensive board. 4 rebounds for the 6'11" man from the University of Arizona.
Does an excellent job of going to get the ball when he is in position as he was that time.
Dikembe and Chambers going after each other. Chambers got into foul trouble last night trying to guard Dikembe. Mutombo has it tomahawked away and out of bounds, and with 7 seconds, Denver will have it. As Felton Spencer comes in, LaFonso Ellis comes in, as does Reggie Williams. Chambers has not been shooting well, but he's been contributing in other ways.
And he didn't score in game one, but I think one reason was he was matched up all night against Mutombo because Felton Spencer got in foul trouble. Now he'll play a power forward position right here, so that should give him opportunities to score.
Karl Malone is out of the ball game. LaFonso Ellis looks up at the shot clock. 3 on it. Ellis is 3 for 3 for the field, but doesn't get close on that one.
Not aware of the shot clock situation, had to throw it up.
Here's John Stockton to Chambers. Chambers shooting only 28%, and we may have interference with the basket. What do we got here? Jimmy Clark spotting it. No, he's going to call a foul. It's going to be Brian Williams committing the foul. That's his second.
Brian needs to be on the floor. You see the difference in this Nugget team when he's out there. He's so active around the boards, particularly on the offensive end. He'll give them a lot of points that way.
Tyrone Corbin now inbounds to Stockton. He'll join Chambers, Felton Spencer, and Jay Humphreys. Stockton going baseline. They cut it off. Chambers, quick shot. Got it.
Yeah, the opportunities will be there at the power forward spot that he didn't get playing the center position against Mutombo.
He's been averaging only 4.6 a game, and we have a timeout called by Denver. Stockton so creative. Let's watch him.
Well, this pick and roll has been a real problem spot for the Nuggets. They simply have not played it well in either game, and Brian could have picked up his 3rd personal foul right here.
The Jazz by 2 at the 6:54 mark of the second quarter. We have a doubleheader tomorrow on TNT. It all starts with the Knicks and the Bulls. Game 3, and the Knicks leading it 2-0. They were there last year, but the Bulls had Michael Jordan, and then followed at 10:30 Eastern, Houston and Phoenix. How about the comeback last night by the Suns, down by 20 points with 8 minutes to go. Phoenix leads that series 2-0, and then Jack and I will be in the Mile High City on Sunday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, as we'll be going to game number 4. We come back with 6:45 left in this half. There's a steal by Stockton. Out it comes to Hornacek.
Well, that's the 7th turnover now for the Denver Nuggets, and the Jazz score on another alert.
You see the run now to 12-2 as it has become a a real surge here. This is what we had on Tuesday night. Both teams that keep surging. Right now, it's in favor of Utah, who's up by 4.
Well, and as a coach, you hate to see your team come out and turn the ball over after you burn a timeout.
Robert Pack trying to duck inside. LaFonso Ellis with Chambers in his face. Hornacek boxing off well, allowed Corbin to come up with a defensive board. Corbin going to try to finish. Pack reached in. Jerry Sloan wanted a foul.
Well, he wanted to foul on the other end. He thought that Jeff Hornacek was held by Reggie Williams, and that's what he was really concerned about. But then Pack, I think, gets away with a hit right there.
He was upset about that as well. It will go now to Utah with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Pack had more than ball. There's Hornacek. He had to really muscle that one up, and we've got a foul. Felton Spencer, and Felton Spencer, who's been in foul trouble a lot of this series, picks up his first here tonight.
Well, see if he could just stay away from those kind. I mean, there's opportunities, yes, to get to the offensive board, but when Mutombo has position as he had that time, Felton is just going to have to back off and say, okay, you've got this one, I'll try to get the next one.
Pretty hard to be subtle when you're 7 foot, weigh 292 pounds.
Yes.
Jazz by 4, reach around by Stockton, and it's going to be off of Stockton. Stockton defensively now has turned it up a couple of clicks. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf now comes back into the ball game. Pack will sit down.
Well, I think that move was made because the Nuggets need something from the outside. Mahmoud, a better shooter from the outside than is Pack.
He has been most of the year. He needs to get it going here tonight. Ellis on Chambers, stripped by Chambers. Ellis tries to get it up, and it comes out instead to Hornacek. Good defense that time by Tom Chambers. Baseline, Tyrone Corbin. He's in deep, and he is fouled.
Boy, taking advantage of these turnovers by this Denver team, they have to value every possession. Ellis right here, he holds the ball just a little long. Chambers gets it here, gets up in the air, has nowhere to go. Felton Spencer with a good job coming over, and then this gives the Jazz another opportunity to get out on the break.
7 turnovers now against the Nuggets as Tyrone Corbin hits the first free throw, gives the Jazz a 5-point lead. Now the biggest lead of the game was 7 by Denver, and Utah now approaching that. We mentioned earlier, as you see that graphic, Tyrone Corbin had only 10 points in the first round, and he matched it in the game here Tuesday night.
Boy, and they were calling for Benoit to be in the starting lineup. Jerry Sloan says, hey, I know my guys. He stayed with Corbin. Corbin came on and played a key role in that win in Game 1.
Into Ellis, they double him. They rotate it out to Reggie Williams, a tray.
Big shot, big basket.
You know, he's hit as many threes as the entire Utah team has in the playoffs. That's his 17th of the playoffs, and he's been shooting so well. 36-33, and it comes to Felton Spencer. He tried to dribble, put it on the floor, has trouble with it, and lost it. It'll be off of Denver. Felton thought he was fouled. He's upset. 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Now, see, in Game 1, I think the Jazz would have gotten that call because they were more physical and they were more aggressive than the Denver Nuggets. Here, the Nuggets have matched that, so the officials giving the Nuggets the benefit of the doubt.
And that's exactly what Issa wanted to do. Here they come on the breakout. 4 on 2. Reggie Williams, and he almost overlaid it. But again, they have that little burst, don't they, when they get out on the open floor?
Well, it all comes when they're able to force turnovers and get out in the open floor.
Well, that lead of 6 points has been cut to 1, 36-35, and they come out and trap Stockton. Reggie Williams has picked up the foul.
Well, that is a little bit close, possibly for the playoffs. Dan Issel upset, but the real reason is he now has his leader in a little bit of foul trouble.
That is the second on Reggie Williams.
Now let's watch this double team here. Williams trying to get over the cutoff. The path to the other side of the floor for Stockton. Now he has 3 personal fouls. He has to sit down.
That's a correction. It is his third. Reggie Williams has picked up his third. He does sit down. Rodney Rogers now comes into the ball game. Reggie Williams with 9 points, 4 of 7 from the field, and he hit that 3 a moment ago. So after he hits the 3, then he gets in foul trouble. That's bad timing for the Denver Nuggets.
Yes, very tough. Tough break there.
4:27 to go, first half. Stockton, you can see, extending the defense on Mahmoud as Brian Stiff not able to get it. Rebound comes out to Stockton. Stockton with a 2. Mutombo tipped it out, but Hornacek with a hustle play comes up with it. Malone, and Malone looks like he's back on track.
Well, good teams take advantage of those plays like that. Little things, but that's the way you get the momentum. That's the way you take advantage of the young team, converting those steals and converting those second chance opportunities.
So after missing his first 6 now, the mailman has hit 2 in a row. Ellis, he needs to get this to go, and he does. After hitting his first 3, he'd had a little trouble then finding the range. He has 8 points in the ball game, a 3-point game. Ellis showing you that he can go out and shoot and has a good low post game. And now Ellis has picked up a foul. He was muscling up Malone, and that'll be the second on LaFonso. Ellis really wants to be the next Karl Malone. He wants to fashion his game after the mailman. And as you said the other night, he maybe has too much respect for him. But he certainly was roughing him up on that trip down the floor.
He is more aggressive against Karl Malone, and I think Dan Issel talked to him about that. But Karl Malone says, you can be the next one, but I'm not gone yet. I'm still the player at that position.
Earlier tonight in an Eastern Conference Semifinal, Atlanta, 92-69. They've evened that series at 1 apiece. A record low 69 points for Larry Brown's team. Dale Curry honored as the 6th man of the year. Kind of got the feeling Indiana saying, well, we got our one on the road. Let's just head home and we'll take care of business there.
Yeah, because they certainly were not as aggressive in that game as they had been in the previous playoff games. They just wanted to get back to Indianapolis and get that crowd involved there. They're a very good team in that building.
There's the 3 by Mahmoud. This team has been shooting threes much better. They were the worst in the NBA at 29%. They were at 41% coming into tonight. Mahmoud helping the percentage there. Stockton out to Hornacek.
Good job running at him by Brian Stitt that time.
Tempo with his 5th rebound. Boy, that inside-outside game works well, though, doesn't it? When Stockton ducks in, it cleared Hornacek. Brian Stitt with a ball fake, and he got the basket, and he's fouled. And that's what he's been most effective doing, little slashing, floating moves to the basket.
Well, his offense is so important now. He has a good floor game, does a good job on defense, plays hard, but when he has under 14 points per game over the season, the Nuggets were 18 and 31. So his offense is so important, a vital part of the success of this team.
Hornacek picked up the foul. Stitt misses a chance at a 3-point play.
Talk about little things. Free throw shooting is one of those that wins close ball games, and the Nuggets struggling once again from the free throw line.
We're even at 42, 2:45 left in the first half. Malone, he got it in deep. And we're going to have goaltending on Mutombo. When Malone gets that deep, he's unstoppable.
Well, and I think that was going to be short. And you'll see Mutombo here try to pull his arm back. It's just so inviting to go up and grab that one. Now watch, he's going to hesitate, kind of pull back, and still comes up with the goaltend on that play.
Mutombo had 31 blocks in the first series. That's an all-time playoff record, even though it was 5 games instead of 7 that Hakeem Olajuwon set the record, which was previously at 30. And now you get the feeling maybe Abdul-Rauf has found the range now.
Well, see, he's going to get all the shots he wants if he just continues to move, because Stockton takes a lot of chances. He doesn't stay at home.
And we almost had to get out of here as both Brian Stitt and Karl Malone came after us. I noticed you quit talking there for a moment.
Very quickly, I was looking for the escape route, and I plotted it out. I was on my way.
Our statistician, Bruce Wolf, was so frozen he couldn't move.
That's the first time I've seen his pencil not moving over there. Bruce trying to get out of the way as well. And here comes Malone.
We'll be back. We're tied at 44.
NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by wrinkle-free 100% cotton Dockers for times when just getting dressed isn't enough.
We're tied at 44 with 2:19 to go. And Jack Gibbons, Gary Bender, and our statistician behind us, Bruce Wolf, his eyes were bigger than saucers when he saw Malone and Stitt coming at him. He just sat there. He did not move at all.
Hey, that's 270 pounds. I'm still shaking as well. I'm glad they veered over that way.
Coming up at halftime, the Reebok Halftime Report, Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios with Chuck Daly. They'll have first half highlights. They'll recap game 2 of the Pacers and Hawks. And they'll take a look at this year's NBA All-Defensive Team. You can see Malone has changed in the second quarter, hitting all 3 of his shots after going 0 for 6 early. 44 apiece, 2:08 left in the first half. Spencer showing that he has some big body.
Well, that's something the first couple of years in Minnesota he wouldn't have thought about doing. Putting the ball on the floor, creating a shot for himself. He has improved so much since coming here.
He's the most surprising player on this Utah team. What an addition he has been. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Ellis, that shot high above him, rebound by Spencer. Spencer's averages, as far as scoring, are right at the regular season. He's up in the rebounding in the playoff department. Shows you how consistent he has been.
Illegal defense.
Illegal defense. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It'll be the first. A warning against Denver is now Brian Williams will come into the ball game. Going to get Ellis out of there. LaFonso, after hitting his first 3 shots, now is 4 of 7 for 8 points. He leaves, and Brian Williams will come in, who has 4 points and 4 rebounds.
Well, a good time to get Ellis out of there. He has 2 personals. You don't pick up your last one in this last minute and a half. Brian Williams has played well, particularly going to the offensive boards.
1:25 left in the first. Oh, what a pass to Malone. That was something. Hornacek, they didn't get it to go, though, as the rebound by Mutombo. It's off of Dikembe. Dikembe's got to be careful now as he goes over to talk to Ron Garretson.
Well, the real thing, though, is how many times in this first half have we seen Mutombo with excellent rebound position, and somehow or another the Jazz end up with the ball. Here he is again there. He wanted the foul.
Well, Stockton's had a lot of shots go all the way in and come back out, and this one's going back to Utah again. Right now, Denver cannot get the ball out of this end of the floor. You look at John Stockton, he's 2 of 7. Malone 3 of 10. Corbin 3 of 8. And as a team, they're shooting 36%.
Well, look at how Stockton handles that ball. He just holds it out. That's one reason why he's such a good passer. He can do it with one hand.
As you mentioned, he has huge hands. And we're going to have a foul away from the ball. It's going to be on Jeff Hornacek, his second, away from the ball. So Jeff with 2, and with a minute 2 left in this first half, Denver has it. 46-44, Utah.
I think that's a big possession for the Nuggets. They need a basket here. They need to go in with something positive, and that's a good way to do it there.
Brian Williams has had 3 slam dunks in this first half for 6 points.
Got a real good screen on the weak side off Malone.
Knocked it out to Malone. Malone to the hole. And he's fouled. It's like the mailman's had enough.
Oh, man. This is Brian. You're not the only one that can throw the ball down. Oh, boy. Williams gets the screen from the weak side. Watch him free himself up. Just continues to move. Karl Malone turned his back, and then he says, hey, I can do this also, young fella. Takes the ball right to the hole. Mutombo picks up the foul.
And Karl Malone and Felton Spencer doing a little body bumping there. Mutombo picked up the foul, his second. Well, Mutombo said he was going to close the post office on the mailman, but he didn't close it that time.
Well, you shouldn't make statements like that against a veteran player, a guy that is as good as Malone. That just gives him incentive to come out and prove you wrong.
49-46 Utah. 27 seconds left now in this first half. Rodney Rogers, followed by the rookie.
Now that's something that the Nuggets didn't get very much out of. They tried to isolate their big people on the low post in game 1. Didn't come to play for them. Here they are tonight getting stuff out of that.
Well, they had only 8 second chance points on Tuesday night. So the nice follow that time. 9 seconds left in the half. 1-point lead for Utah. They come out and trap. We've got an illegal defense. That's a second one. That's a technical.
Spacing is so important when teams are doubling up on you. It forces the defense to come such long distances that it gives the officials an easy chance to call the illegal defense.
EJ and Chuck Daly, the Reebok halftime report. They'll be with us after we conclude the last 5.4 seconds of this half. Hornacek will shoot the technical. Jeff shooting 88% during the year. That was 7th best in the NBA. They're going to bring Pack in here in case they get a chance on a breakout.
Mahmoud
remaining seconds, and Mahmoud sits down.
He's really limping as he leaves the floor. We talked about him coming down on someone's foot early.
Stockton hits the deck trying to fight through. He's coming up with a shot and hits it. 2.4 seconds left, and Hornacek gets in front of Stith, and Brian Stith is called for the offensive foul. That is the 3rd on Brian Stith.
Well, veterans this time of the year, you can't say enough about the experience. Here's Stith. He doesn't look up the floor. Hornacek is definitely there. Now, I thought Stith might have
traveled. Wait a minute now, Pack and Malone. Pack and Malone doing some shoving and pushing. Ron Garrettson stepping between them. And they were just trying to position themselves on this inbound. Earlier, remember, Stockton got knocked down on the inbound. And this time, Malone was trying to get squatters' rights in there, and Pack was trying to move him off of it.
Malone came over and said, my jersey didn't get out on its own here. Someone pulled it out.
There's Pack to reach around and bats it away, and that's going to end our half. The Utah Jazz with a 4-point lead, and Karl Malone is the reason they have that lead in the second quarter. 4 of 5, 11 points. EJ Chuck Daly will be along in a little bit. 52-48, the Jazz.
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok, to remind you that on Planet Reebok, there are no rules.
Utah's trying to take a 2-0 lead over Denver. They lead the Nuggets by 4 at the break. This is the Reebok Halftime Report. Ernie Johnson along with Chuck Daly. Your thoughts on the first half?
Well, both clubs playing very intense. Mutombo early. Denver getting out and running, getting into the running game, helped them stay in the game. But it looks to me like the home court is going to prevail in this one.
You know, you talk about Denver, you talk about Dikembe Mutombo and his great shot blocking ability. He just destroyed the Seattle Supersonics. Let's go to the telestrator and take a look at what Utah is doing here. You got to get him out of the way, don't you, Chuck?
Yeah, they're running a screener action where they came across from Malone trying to get him a shot, but they leave Mutombo in the lane, and that's dangerous because if you're going to let him hang around, I mean, he's going to get anything that comes, and watch what happens. Here we come off the top to try to open it up. They go inside. Here comes Karl Malone, but guess who's waiting? Hello. Gets not only the block, retrieves the ball, and draws a foul on Karl Malone. Here's penetration. He kicks it out.
David Benoit with the miss, and here's that Denver.
Here we go.
Game.
This is what Denver will do in Denver. They will really get in the lane and get down there. Here's Brian Williams on a great follow, which he's done very well in this series so far.
The Denver bench has been strong, especially strong in that Seattle series. Now, when the Reebok Halftime Report rolls on, we'll have the story of Atlanta's Game 2 victory over the Pacers. Mookie Blaylock, a big night. And as we hit the break, you'll see Mookie among the starting 5 on the NBA's all-defensive first team, joined by Gary Payton, the Pip, the Oak, the Dream. The second team, a couple of Spurs, the Worm and the Admiral, with Horace Grant, Nate McMillan, and Latrell Sprewell. We will be right back. It's Utah leading by 4. And welcome back. Last night we witnessed the biggest fourth quarter comeback in NBA playoff history as the Suns stormed back from an 18-point deficit. Earlier tonight here on TNT, we witnessed another playoff record. Indiana's 69 points, the low water mark, breaking the previous record of 70 held by Golden State and Seattle. At the Omni tonight, the Hawks looking to get even after losing game 1 by 11. Early on, Kevin Willis, 20 points and 15 rebounds. They got a 2-point lead. Late first, watch Dwayne Farrell. Gets a good look, launches the 3, and nothing but the twine. They're up 24-19. Danny Manning, a 20.9 rebound night. They're up 32-23. Mookie Blaylock, the first triple-double of the playoffs for anybody. 11 points, 10 boards, 13 assists. Atlanta with a 15-point lead, and then Indiana makes it interesting late in the third. You got a long three-pointer. You got another long three-pointer. You're down by 8 heading to the fourth quarter. Larry Brown's guys responded with only 12 points in the fourth quarter. As look at Danny Manning with the acrobatic move to put it away. 92-69 the final. The series is tied, and the Hawks' John Koncak says the key was wardrobe.
Well, you know, I wore my division champs shirt yesterday and wore my Bring It On shirt today, you know. And sometimes, you know, when you lose a game and your confidence wavers a little bit, you know, you got to reestablish that, hey, we've been one of the best teams in the league all year, and we've got to go out and play like it. I thought tonight, you know, from the opening tip to the final minute, we played like the Central Division champs that we are.
Certainly looking good. No big secret to you. You know how crucial that is come playoff time.
Yeah, those T-shirts are the answer. I missed something somewhere along the way, but you know they'll have to play back-to-back. They've got
three games
in 4 days. 2 afternoon games back-to-back. Bench will will be a very big factor, who responds bench-wise. And I think if you go back and check, Mookie's had a little bit of trouble in back-to-backs. I think they need to win that Saturday game in Indiana. So, and Indiana's a tough club at home.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday at Market Square. The Reebok Halftime Report continues in a minute. And welcome back. A reminder, yet another doubleheader on TNT tomorrow night. We'll start it off with New York and Chicago from Chicago Stadium. The Knicks with a 2-0 lead there, followed by the Houston Rockets traveling to America West. The Suns unbeaten in the playoffs with a 2-0 lead in that series. Let's talk about the series in the East with the Knicks up 2-0 and a familiar script. Last year it was the same deal. The Bulls won the last 4. Are they capable without Michael Jordan of doing it this time, Chuck?
I don't think they're going to win 4 in a row. I think that this will be the most entertaining game thus far. Chicago has to win this one. The stadium will really be alive, and they'll be pushing the ball. I think they'll go back to a couple of offensive wrinkles, bringing Pippen into the post, using their step-up action with Pippen. But New York is so capable of extending their defense. I think it's going to be this is going to be a tough series.
You know, after your series with the Knicks, one of the first questions in the post-game press conference was, how about the future? Going to be back as a New Jersey Nets head coach, and you said, hey, I want time to think. Have you had enough time to think? What's up?
No, we talked about it. I could go back and get a 6-year deal, and I could be 70 when I finish coaching, something like that. But in the immediate future, root canal Lamar. You know, it was a choice of you or root canal.
Well, I think this may be more painful from time to time. Chuck, we have really enjoyed having you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. We have some lovely parting gifts and the home version of our game for you. Coming up, it is the third period from Utah. The Jazz with a 4-point lead over the Nuggets.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no limits.
It's a 52-48 halftime score. Utah with the lead. We had 8 lead changes in the first half. Gary Bender along with Goose Gibbons. And Jack, if you look at the first half, this Denver team doing a much better job of getting the ball where they want it as an end result, shooting so much better than they did in game 1.
Well, you look at this game, and they've had a number of opportunities in the fast break. And, of course, when you're playing against a team that is very good in their half-court defense, and the Utah Jazz is that kind of team, you have to find a way to get some early baskets. They've been able to do that. They've moved the ball very well, and because of that, they're shooting a high percentage.
Well, let's see now what you're talking about. Let's go to your telestrator and see what you can tell us.
Well, you know, this is a key position right here. Ellis is going to get the ball inside. Now, he's been very active, much more so than in game 1. Mutombo is going to see the double team come. He's going to make this move to the basket, get the pass, and then he's going to kick it right out here to the corner. Williams is waiting over there. He's going to have a chance for the 3-point shot, and he's going to be wide open. That's one reason why the percentage for the Denver Nuggets so good in the first half of play.
Well, let's look at those numbers that you were talking about statistically. Now we're comparing game 1 first half to tonight's first half, and you can see they're up 10%.
And once again, they're showing they can do it on the defensive end as well. The Jazz shooting just 39%. Free throws is going to continue to be a problem area for this Nugget team. If it is that way, they will struggle to win games.
Well, as Dan Issel put it, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf has to start shooting the ball well. He was 4 of 8 in the first half.
Well, he faced a tough Peyton in the first series. He shot the ball terribly, didn't get many open shots. He has moved well in this series. He's shown signs of making shots. There's one right there from the corner.
Karl Malone really got off to a bad start and then started to come on in the second half or second quarter of play.
Good teams take advantage of the extra opportunities that you give them. Here you'll see Malone get the pass from Hornacek. He knocks it down from the corner. Much better for Karl Malone in the second period.
He was 0 for 6 in the first quarter and then 4 for 5 in the second. And here's a comparison, one of these key matchups. LaFonso Ellis and Karl Malone. You can see what they did in game 1 in the first half. Ellis didn't do much of anything. He's doing much better here tonight.
Yeah, he had 4 shots total in game 1. Here he has, 7 shot totals in game 1. 7 shots in the first half here tonight, so he is more aggressive against Karl Malone while on offense.
Let's look at the leading scorers. Mahmoud with 10. Reggie Williams, who has 3 fouls with 9. Ellis, who hit his first 3 shots with 8. Malone, after that horse collar he got in the first quarter, came back with 11. Stockton 8, Corbin 8, and Hornacek with 7. The foul difficulty, as we mentioned, Reggie Williams has 3. Also, Brian Stiff with 3. They come out and try to trap Stockton. In it goes to Felton Spencer. The William Tell overture in the background, as you no doubt can hear, or Ohio Silver if you prefer, as Tyrone Corbin doesn't get it. Ellis with a rebound. Out it comes now to Stiff. Brian Stiff in that first half, we said, picked up the 3 fouls, had 4 points, shooting 2 of 5.
Watching Dan Issel over there, he says, turn that stuff off while we have the ball.
We don't need all that extraneous noise. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Mahmoud with a 3, and Tyrone Corbin got a piece of it. Corbin flying by, nipped him, and that'll be 3 on Ty Corbin.
Mahmoud was bothered by the sore ankle in the first half. This time Corbin comes over, gets him on his shooting hand, and now he has jammed his finger. We'll see if it has any effect on his shooting at the free throw line.
Well, he has not missed a free throw in the playoffs. He is 13 of 13. For that matter, he's missed only 10 all year long, shooting .956 from the line. Just missed the season record of Calvin Murphy.
You'll see Corbin come over, get him right there, and you saw that finger jerk back there, and it seems he is okay as he knocked out his first free throw.
Didn't affect him at all, did it?
Not at all. Wouldn't expect for it to do that because he is so good from the free throw line.
15 of 15 now in the playoffs from the line, and it's a 2-point game. 11-12 to go in the third. Stockton tried to penetrate, has to reload it, and he clears. Stockton not shooting all that well. Mutombo coming up with it. Stockton in this ball game is now 3 of 9 from the field.
He's getting good looks at the basket, and just as quickly he can turn it on and start knocking those shots down.
Now Reggie Williams hit a 3 in the first half, comes back and hits a 2 here to tie it up for the 9th time. 52 apiece.
Reggie's got to stay on the floor. He has picked up fouls in this series. He has 3 now. He has to be a big part of this.
Malone almost had that one go back to Denver, and then he gets it back and puts it up with a little rainbow.
Great touch. Really nice touch on that trip to the basket.
He was really caught unaware on that pass, but Felton Spencer bailed him out. 54-52. Mahmoud baseline. And nice move by Mutombo. Doesn't get it. Out it comes to Corbin. Mutombo, after having 20 points Tuesday night, has 5. He is 1 of 4 from the field in this game. Malone inside.
And most of Mutombo's damage came in the second half in game 1. Maybe he will be more effective in the second half here tonight.
That foul was on LaFonso Ellis, his 3rd.
You know, Malone has to shoot this one high. He also has to have good touch. Watch, he just rolls it off his finger, gets it to drop down right through the net.
Karl Malone in the first half was 3 of 3 from the line. 10-10 left in the third as he now gives the Jazz a 55-52 lead. And look at this, free throw attempts. Now that's the average over 7 seasons, because David Robinson this year led in that department. But for over 7 seasons, he does camp on the free throw line.
He gets there a lot. He's very good at using that big body to entice the players to come over his back, or either to entice the officials into calling fouls while he's in the act of shooting. Does a pretty decent job of acting down there at times, but the officials give him the benefit, and he gets to the line.
Mahmoud shows him the ball, then pulls it back down and drills it.
Great job. He's playing with a lot of confidence. You know, he hasn't been shooting it well, but he's continuing to move, finding the open places on the floor, and creating opportunities for himself.
He had a high of 31 points in the last regular season meeting against Utah. And here tonight with 14.
Now Ellis left him to go out, and you can't do that against Karl Malone.
And Malone was 16 points. 57-54, Utah. Games 3 and 4 back-to-back Saturday and Sunday, and Goose and I will be in the Mile High City on Sunday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, to bring you game 4. Reggie Williams now has hit his last 3 shots in the game.
Well, that's why he needs to be on the floor. That's why he's got to play smart and not pick up the fouls.
57-56 Utah. But his Denver teams improved. We saw that in the Seattle series. Every game they got stronger.
You see Williams out there dogging that far away from the basket. That's how you pick up fouls.
Oh, Malone had 7 seconds on the shot clock. You thought maybe he was hurrying that a little bit, but not when you're the mailman, as he now has 18 points.
And with every shot he makes, I'm noticing that LaFonso Ellis is becoming more and more hesitant to put the ball up when he has it. He has to step up and once again accept that challenge.
Mutombo then catches something to the face, and we're going to have a foul And now Ellis and Malone do a little shoving.
Well, Ellis kind of threw the ball off of the top of Malone's head, and now Mutombo is stepping in there, and Karl is just pushing everyone out. And you know, I tell you, little things make the big difference, and Malone understands he's playing against a very inexperienced player. He is not going to let Ellis do anything to get the upper hand here.
The foul goes on Karl Malone, his second, as Mutombo checking to see if all of the dentures are still in place. 59-56. Mahmoud has a dribble off his foot. They still have time. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Looks like he may have hurried that one. Mutombo keeps it alive, though, for the Nuggets, and there's another foul. Hornacek reaching in. You just don't realize, unless you see Mutombo in person, how he's all arms and legs. A long wingspan, those size 20 shoes and those long legs. And in the Nuggets in this quarter, with 8 points, Malone has all 7 for Utah.
And the real problem is he's all arms and he's 7'2", so when he brings them down, he is coming down on someone's head most of the time.
Reggie Williams will bring it back out to Mahmoud. He's looking deep to Ellis.
He needs it. Ellis needs it. He's working so hard.
Tyrone Corbin trying to cover him. Nice catch by Ellis. And he draws the foul. You know, you were right, though. He was just in a frenzy trying to get open.
Well, see, he has, and I noticed this a little bit in game one. When he is posted up against someone else other than Karl Malone, he becomes more aggressive. And you see him working hard here. So when you have him working that way, you have to reward him. You have to give him the ball, and he gets to the free throw line here.
What's significant about that play is Hornacek picked up his 4th foul.
And Jay Humphries now is going to be pressed into action a lot sooner than Jerry Sloan wanted. Humphries has been bothered by that sore knee. He is over there pulling up the sleeve now on that knee. The tendonitis has been a problem. Didn't practice today. Went to the doctor's office this morning, had some treatment, and he decided to give it a go. Fortunately, because the Jazz having trouble in the backcourt with fouls.
Alfonso Ellis gets both free throws. 59-58. Utah. 8:05 to go in the third. Trying to check Stockton. They switch off to Spencer, and Spencer gets it rejected right back into his face by the NBA's leading shot blocker, Dikembe Mutombo.
And in his mind, the defensive player of the year. He didn't like it at all that Olajuwon got that award. You see him right here showing where he's most valuable.
That's his 3rd block of the night. Tyrone Corbin missed the slam. Mutombo can't get the handle on it, and Felton Spencer's fouled in by Bryant Stiff. That would be the 4th on Stiff. And again, Mutombo could not snatch the ball.
I mean, just think about it. It seems as though every time he has fumbled it away, the Jazz have gotten points out of it. He had to rebound once again, but he's having trouble holding on to it, and the Jazz have converted all of those opportunities.
Stiff, as I mentioned, with his 4th foul. So Stiff has 4, Hornacek with 4. Felton Spencer, not a good free throw shooter. In fact, he's shooting even poorer in the playoffs, shooting 46% from the line as opposed to 61 in the regular season. So now Stiff goes out, Brian Williams checks in, and here comes David Benoit for Utah.
Well, the Jazz have to make an adjustment here because this larger lineup for the Denver Nuggets worked very well in the first half. Brian Williams in with Alfonso Ellis and with Dikembe Mutombo at the same time.
Well, what was it? Issa said, I can only go to the big lineup if we stay out of foul trouble. 61-58. 7:42 left in the third. Watching Jay Humphries during that free throw, he's trying to loosen up that knee. He doesn't look like he's really all that happy. Looks like he's got some pain. He's really trying to fight through. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Dikembe with a sweeping hook. Malone keeps it alive off the Felton Spencer. And look at Malone sprint down the floor. Mutombo challenges him. He may have gotten a piece of it. I don't know.
Yes, he did. He did an excellent job of converting. Malone normally takes that one to the basket more aggressively. And Mutombo with the nice defensive play again.
And Stockton has committed a foul as he tried to check Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. That's the 3rd on John Stockton.
Now watch Malone run the floor. Normally he will try to dunk this one through. You hear a lot about Mutombo's blocks, but you don't hear as much about how many shots he altered. That time he forced Malone to miss that one.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf at the line, as we mentioned. He is perfect from the free throw line in the playoffs. 4 of 4 tonight. That's already 5 team fouls against Utah. We have 7-14 left in the third.
Hornacek already on the bench with 4. Stockton now with 3. So Stockton's going to have to be careful here. If he picks up a foul, that means Humphries has to play the point guard spot, and that's going to put more pressure on him and that sore knee.
That ball was tipped by Denver. What was it that Jerry Sloan said this morning? He says this Denver team is seeing this game differently than they did 2 weeks ago. In other words, their experience, their confidence, they're growing up in a hurry.
They have had to, and it's nice to see them make the adjustments from game to game that enable them to win the series against the Seattle Supersonics.
Reggie Williams on the blind side gets it away from Jay Humphries. That's the little things Reggie Williams does. And then Humphries pushed off on Reggie Williams as almost a retaliation. He was upset, and he kind of gave him a little shove, and Mike Mathis was standing there, and he caught it, and now they're going to call a technical. Nope, a timeout. We have a timeout as Jay Humphries is working on Mike Mathis. He's not happy, but he got the foul.
Now the officials want to make sure this thing doesn't get out of control. You're going to see some action here that forces Mike Mathis to call the foul very quickly on Jay Humphries. Now after the steal here, you'll see a little bit of a push after he makes the foul. Watch right there. Now there's one push, and then as we roll it here, watch the action right in this area. Another push, and that's why they call the foul on Humphries.
As an end result, Reggie Williams will go to the line. I tell you, when you're hurting, your tempers flare a little more. I think you're just really on edge. And he didn't like the steal by Reggie. Came back and then compounded the problem by committing the foul as Reggie misses that free throw. And let's take a look at tonight's Chevrolet scoreboard. Atlanta 92-69, and Blaylock with a triple-double. 61 all, 6:49 to go in the third. Humphries having to play a lot. Hornacek on the bench with 4 fouls. Humphries not able to get it, followed by Benoit, and Ellis comes out of there, and Benoit's after him, but Mahmoud comes up with it. Here is Reggie Williams with a 2. Stockton with a rebound.
Big possession right there for Denver. They didn't get the basket.
Karl Malone pulls out.
That happened so often.
And you knew that was going in. How many times have you seen him pull up and nail that when he has 20 points in the game?
Well, the quick shot gave the Jazz the advantage on the other end. And, of course, Malone finds that open spot all the time. Stockton loves to give it to him because that adds to his assist total.
Jazz retake the lead by 2. Mutombo with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Mahmoud trying to shake Stockton. Rebound as Malone and Brian Williams went up. Malone hits the deck. It'll be off of Denver, but Malone, as big as he is, went flying over the end line.
Well, and I think that's one reason why the officials hesitate to blow the whistle as much. This guy is 270 now, and he comes flying out of there with just a little bit of contact. Didn't get rewarded for that acting job that time.
Brian Williams is saying, I didn't know it was that strong. Here's Benoit, who kicks it out to Humphries. Humphries.
Good job there, just remaining patient. Misses the shot.
Rebounds his own, takes it to the hole, and despite the pain and all, able to put up the left-handed shot. There's Malone with a steal on the inbound. Malone does so many things well.
Every possession is big. Young teams don't understand that, and they get another illegal defense ball.
That's the third, so that is another technical.
Dan Issel has used his timeouts wisely. He's going to call a 20-second timeout right here just to make sure he gets this young team under the control. The crowd is loud. He wants to get something going for his team.
That's what Issel has done so well, to show great patience with this young team. Let's look at this now, how alert Karl Malone is on the inbound.
Well, you'll see him hang around right there, knowing the ball's going to come into Mahmoud, picks it off, and yes, they're going to score out of this. Good teams will do that.
And that's the reason that Karl Malone has gone to 7 straight All-Star games, 8 total. The all-time leading scorer for the Jazz. He went over 19,000 points this year and led this team in scoring in 69 of the 82 games. And here tonight has a total of 20 points, again leading Utah. And you can see after that goose egg in the first quarter, he's started to come on.
Goose egg?
Goose egg.
Thank you for giving me a little credit there.
The Goose Gibbons goose egg. That's hard to say. 65-61.
I had a few of those. I know that feeling very well.
And Felton Spencer tried to take it the hole, and Mutombo got a part of that one. Here's Reggie Williams. Nice play, but he can't get it to go. Felton Spencer with the rebound. Back it comes to Humphries. Denver missing some opportunities right now. Malone looking for points, 21-22. Felton Spencer tried to follow tip, rejected by Mutombo. Brian Williams has got it. Out they come, and Malone looking like a tight end in the NFL.
And then Reggie picks up the dumb foul.
See, that is a bad foul.
That's what he has to stay against, and he's going to pick up the technical too, so he's going to get penalized twice.
And you got your oldest, most experienced player right now losing his poise. That is very costly. That is his 4th foul, and also, as you mentioned, the tee.
See, but he just can't do that, see, because they need him on the floor for no other reason. He is the guy that this young team rallies around. So he's picked up another foul here. He has to sit the rest of this period and some of the 4th period. That could be the difference in this ball game, having him on the bench as opposed to having him in the game.
John Stockton hits the technical. Let's look at this. Watch it all.
Now Felton Spencer with the play right there, and then Brian Williams is going to throw this one away. You just can't do that. You have to value the possession. Now you're not going to get the ball away from Malone. You're just not going to do it. And he picks up the foul. Now he has to sit down.
So he's down with 4 fouls. Hornacek is down with 4 fouls. 66-61 Utah. 4:39 left in the 3rd. Stockton baseline gets around Mahmoud. David Benoit with a tray. And Pack, who just came in, goes high for the rebound, and he's fouled. Robert Pack, when he comes in, he's hit that hip again, which is getting him trouble. What was it Dan Issel said about Pack? He says he comes in, he always makes something happen. Sometimes bad.
Sometimes not good.
And sometimes good.
But for the most part here, in both the Seattle series and in this series, he has been very good, making good decisions, puts the ball down here, and falls right on that hip that has been bothering him for the last couple of weeks.
Well, remember Game 5? He just came down unprotected on it. That foul was on Benoit, his first. Nuggets, not a good free throw shooting team, and that's right where they expect to be, around 69 to 72%. Williams sitting down, and the leadership of Reggie Williams was not there a moment ago. He'll cool off. Dan Issel bring him back at the opportune time as Pack trying to hit the 2nd free throw.
Well, I can understand Williams' effort because he knows he has to make something happen. That's a key time. But once again, you pick up foul number 4 in an unnecessary situation, and you have to sit, so you can't be any value to your team sitting on the bench.
Stockton gets around Mahmoud. Here's David Benoit, who's been shooting much better in the playoffs than he did in the regular season. And we're going to have 3 seconds in the lane. A couple of extra passes cost him.
Felton Spencer trying to get rebound position. He thought it was going to go up a couple times. Could not get out of the lane.
4:12 left in the 3rd. Turnovers, you can see them. The Nuggets with 12, the Jazz with 10.
You know, because of the Nuggets defense, they're just never out of the ball game.
Pack goes inside, and he had Benoit on his back. As he darted inside, everybody was collapsing on him, and he's able to draw the foul, and Benoit has picked up his 2nd. This looked like a running back. Didn't it look how he cuts in here now?
Well, Pat gets up there. He makes the pass, but, boy, Benoit comes down right on top of him. Fortunately, both players okay.
Well, this guy is always pushing, always trying to make something happen, and he gets in some really peculiar positions and in some positions that are kind of scary at times.
Well, he doesn't mind giving up his body to try to come up with the loose ball, and that's what makes him so valuable to this team.
He cuts it to 1, 66-65. 4 minutes to go in the 3rd, and this young Denver team has pulled off the biggest upset in NBA history, upsetting #1 seed Seattle in the 1st round, showing again how good they're going to be. Here's Brian Williams off to Robert Pack.
Their defense keeps them in ball games.
Mahmoud, that's a 3.
Yes, see, you get the defense, you get easy opportunities or quick opportunities, and you force the action. That's what the Nuggets need to do. Excellent opportunity there. They take advantage of.
And that 3 has given Denver a 2-point lead. Denver, their first lead since they led 30-28. 3:40 left in the 3rd. In the Eastern Conference Semifinals tonight, we have the Pacers losing to the Hawks. They're tied at 1. The Bulls and Knicks, with the Knicks leading 2 games tonight, and we'll be bringing you that game starting at 8 o'clock as Scottie Pippen and Chicago trying to win their first. In the Western Conference Semifinals, this game here, and then the Suns, a remarkable come-from-behind win over the Rockets, and Game 3 tomorrow night from the America West Arena following that Knicks and Bulls game.
Well, the Jazz still shooting just 37% in this ball game. The Nuggets 49%. They have turned the ball over some. The Nuggets with 12, so that's an area they need to improve.
Ellis trying to help out on the play defensively, and he collides with Karl Malone.
Here is that fast break opportunities that the Nuggets take advantage of. They get the three-point shot from Mahmoud. He knocks it down.
Goes out of bounds. They bring it into Stockton. Stockton driving on Mahmoud, who backs up. Stockton, good presence of mind and body control. Ties it up at 68.
Stockton with the strong upper body when he's playing against a smaller player, and he is against Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. He can free himself up with a little bit of shoulder action.
And Stockton then is knocked down in the paint.
Well, Stockton's going to pick up the foul now. That's 4 on John Stockton if they call it against Stockton. The officials discussing it here.
Yeah, Mathis and Garrison now indicating to see what decision they come up with. They're going to call it on Pack. Robert Pack. Pack has committed the foul, not Stockton. Let's see if we can pick it up here on the replay.
Well, let's see what happens. Pack is going to keep moving. Stockton is going to step in the way here. Well, that's one that could have gone very easily the other way, and Dan Issel doesn't like to call it all. Now you have both starting guards for the Jazz with 4 if it's called the other way.
We're tied at 68 inside 3 minutes to go in the third. Stockton trying to shake Pack. Out it comes to Malone. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Malone with 2.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. You get him out on the floor shooting that just what you want, and he knocks it down.
22 points for Karl Malone. A 2-point lead now for the Jazz. They played so well defensively and then end up with that one. And here is a 3 by Mahmoud, rebounded by Benoit.
And watch Karl Malone again.
And it goes to Malone, the quick shot.
See, that's what happens, and they know exactly when to go to him. Boy, they have him cooking. He's running the floor. You got to reward him.
And did you see the look he gave John Stockton? Like, we've done this a few times before.
He said, thank you so much again, point guard.
And now Stockton having trouble staying with the Pack. Ran into another pick on this play. Here's Ellis with 7 seconds on the shot clock. Little jump hook. Mutombo tries to take it up, stripped. Williams can't get it. Ellis goes up, and we have a foul.
Ellis might have pushed off to get that offensive rebound opportunity there.
They did. That's 4, and it is.
The Nuggets have had foul trouble in game 1. Once again, they're in foul trouble. Another key player is going to have to sit.
Mutombo again bringing that ball down. Always gets in trouble.
Well, the problems he has had tonight hanging on to it, you can understand why he's doing that, to make sure he has it in his possession.
Malone, who has a little spurt, was an end result. His team leading 72-68. Jay Humphries. Rebound, Brian Williams, knocked away by Stockton. Gives their troops time to get back defensively.
The Nuggets need a bucket here.
8 rebounds for Brian Williams. Ellis backing in, and Stockton reaches in. Now, they may have the 4th foul now on Stockton.
I think they do.
That will be his 4th.
So now he's forced to come with John Crotty. Now he wants Crotty. He doesn't feel bad about having Crotty in the game, but he doesn't want to give him extended minutes. Hornacek with 4, now Stockton with 4, so John Crotty's going to have to play some key minutes here.
John Crotty, second-year man out of Virginia, did play more this year for the Utah Jazz in the regular season. He's a left-hander, as Ellis at the line.
John Crotty checks in now for
Alonzo Ellis now with 10 points in the game. Here comes Crotty.
Well, Crotty was going to be the guy that got the minutes if Humphries was not going to be able to go tonight. I talked to Jerry Sloan about that, and he said, yeah, I feel okay playing him. I just don't want him to play extended minutes. He's going to have to get some here tonight.
Ellis gets both free throws, and Ellis for the game is 4-4 from the line. He has 12 points. 72-70. The Jazz by 2.
One thing Crotty will do is knock down the open shots, so Mahmoud will have to stay at home.
Here he is. Off it comes to Malone. And Mike Mathis indicating what? An illegal defense.
Boy,
that's 4 times.
That's 4 times tonight.
Illegal defense. Illegal defense.
Let's look at the foul trouble. We had 7 guys Tuesday night with 5 fouls before the night was over. And we're going to update you here. We have 5 guys with 4, 3 of them for the Nuggets. Williams, at Ellis and Stith, Stockton and Hornacek, the starting backcourt for the Jazz with 4 each. So the technical free throw will be Jay Humphries. 73-70, Utah.
You see Mutombo coming back in the game. Really can't say enough, though, about what Jay Humphries has been able to do here in this ball game. They didn't think they would have him at all, and he's had to play a bunch of minutes, more than Jerry Sloan wanted, and he has been very effective.
Benoit has a strip by Rodney Rogers. Crotty is able to retrieve it. 51 seconds left now in the third.
Well, what a point guard to learn from if you're John Crotty, though. You know he'll replace Stockton one day here in Utah. He'll be ready.
That's a 3 by Benoit. Rebound Rodney Rogers. Out ahead it comes to Pack. Watch this.
Oh, finished second in the slam dunk competition in Minneapolis.
Everything he does was with an exclamation point. 73-72. You knew that was going to be a high wire act, right?
And Crotty's smart. I know he couldn't get up there. He knew he couldn't get up there and decided not to even try.
A 1-point game. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Benoit will take it inside. He's stripped to the ball. Felton Spencer reloads it.
He has been around the basket at key times the entire playoff series for the Jazz.
He now has 9 points. That's right at his average.
Big shot.
6. Yes,
Give him
right
2.
back a 2. That is a 2 by Pack. He has 12. Back to Humphries with 1.2 seconds. He hits it as the clock expires in the third quarter.
Denver was celebrating that shot by Pack, thinking they had it made. Big basket, but the Jazz push it down. Crotty with the good pass here to Humphries, who I mentioned has played big on that bad knee.
77-74 as we go to the fourth quarter. Welcome back to Salt Lake City, Game 2, this Western Conference Semifinal between the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. Coming into tonight, the Jazz leading 1-0 and leading after 3 quarters of play, 77-74. I'm Gary Bender along with Jack Gibbons. Denver has played very good defense. They were second in the NBA in field goal defense.
And that's why you can never count them out of the ball game. It's just a matter of how many runs they can continue to make up and put together here. They're holding the Jazz to just 40% here tonight, so they're doing the job once again on defense.
Nuggets shooting better at 47 as opposed to game 1. That was what Jerry Sloan said. You can't put them away because of their defense. And Pack drives inside, and he is fouled. Lumber Pack finds places to go. You look at him, it doesn't look like there's any place he can go with the ball, but somehow he's able to knife in there. It looks like he may have banged his left knee a little bit. John Crotty committed the foul.
When you are as quick as Pack is, you can create opportunities for yourself.
So Crotty playing because both Hornacek and Stockton have 4 fouls. 77-74. Pack is going to try it too. Ryan Williams digs it out.
Now shot selection is going to be a real key here for Denver. They have to make sure they get something here in these opportunities if they're getting offensive foul. So they're going to give it up. Jay Humphries once again with an excellent defensive play. Bates Stith into the foul.
That's his 5th foul. Well, Stith's had some unusual fouls in this game, and here's one of them right here.
Well, what these fouls have done is prevented him from being a consistent player for the Denver Nuggets. He has to sit down yet again.
Yeah, it keeps him on the bench more than he'd like to be. 77-74, Utah. John Crotty with Reggie Williams, who's back into the ball game, playing with 4 fouls. And another illegal defense.
That's because of Karl Malone. The only reason you can get all these illegal defenses is because of this guy's presence in the low hole. You have to double team him.
So Humphries will get another technical free throw.
Well, he's getting a lot of points off the free throw line because of these illegal defenses.
Humphries is 5 of 5 from the stripe. Now 6 of 6.
Now let's take a look here at Karl Malone on the low post. Now he is so good. Humphries is going to come up with a back screen if you'll let it roll here, and we'll see how this develops. He'll get the back screen. Brian Williams now. Malone's going to be here. Mutombo's going to have to come back. Williams is going to have to come back. And they get there before the pass is made. And that's why the illegal defense is called.
78-74. 11-12 left in the game. Malone with Williams' hand in his face. Doesn't deter him in any shape or form. He has 26 points tonight. Remember, he did not score in the first quarter.
That just makes it so tough on your defense.
Pack floating one-hander.
Shot selection. Yeah, it's going to be the key.
Crotty off to Jay Humphries. What a courageous player he's been tonight. Playing on that sprained right knee, and he has responded for Jerry Sloan.
Boy, it's funny where the Jazz go when they need a basket. They look for Malone. That forces the defense to drop back in there, and that gives Chambers a chance to get on the board.
And Tom Chambers needed to get on the board. He has not been shooting well, and the Jazz have their biggest lead of the ball game, 82-74. (82-74), and here's tonight's Dutch boy in the paint.
Well, you'll see the Nuggets getting it done as far as points are concerned, but Karl Malone starting to come to life. 24 points since the first period, 79% from the field.
And again, with guys hanging all over him, hands in his face, still shooting now. This lead of 8, the biggest of the ball game now for the Utah Jazz. 10 seconds on the shot clock. With 8, Ellis with 6, has it partially blocked and fouled.
Karl Malone got him on his elbow as he let it go.
They were in a lot of hurt there. They were really unraveling a little bit, trying to get something going, and Malone bailed him out with a foul as Ellis will go to the line.
Yeah, the spacing just didn't look good, and that enabled the Jazz to just drop back in there. The Nuggets had to bring it right to them. Fortunately, Ellis gets to the free throw line.
Ellis from the stripe is 4-4. He has 12 points in the ball game. Alfonso Ellis, who grew up in East St. Louis, Illinois. Very tough neighborhood. Talked about the fact he had 2 close friends who died in shooting accidents. But this is a delightful young man. What a voice he's got. When you interview him, he's got a voice. I mean, a special voice and a special person. 82-76.
Boy, Crotty's giving him a good job off the bench. Situation, a tough situation. They've been able to build a lead since he has come into the ballgame.
Tom Chambers with 4 points in the ball game. Off to Benoit, and it was blocked by Mutombo. The fans screaming for a foul.
And Mutombo shakes his finger and says, no, don't do that.
The house of Mutombo, no one shall
Big
fly.
shot. Big shot
There's
right
a 3
here
by Reggie, and Crotty with a rebound.
You know, Crotty has not held on to the ball very long. Williams coming in, and Malone hangs long enough.
Karl Malone with 28, and he is averaging 28.4 in the playoffs prior to tonight.
You know, the thing Crotty has done that has made it a whole lot easier for him is he hasn't held on to the ball any longer than he's had to. He's given it up to the more veteran players.
Pack trying to take it inside. Malone with the rebound. Crotty hits the floor. He's getting up slowly. Pack gets up. Crotty going to be okay. He tells Jerry Sloan, I'm all right.
Of course he's going to say he's okay because he wants the minutes. He's hurting. But he looks over at the bench and says, let me play, coach. Let me play.
22nd timeout now by the Utah Jazz. Some bodies hit the floor very hard on this move to the basket by Robert Pack.
Well, Pack takes the ball to the hole. Crotty's going to get in his way. Good defensive job. And it looks as though, Karl Malone comes over the back, gives him some body, and hits him in the back of the head as he falls down. But he's saying to Jerry Sloan, hey, what do you mean I hit the floor? I'm okay. Leave me in there, man. This is some key minutes, and I want all of them.
And a little massage going on there on his back as they try to keep him in. Again, he's playing a lot because Hornacek and Stockton with 4 fouls each. Inside the NBA, coming up next, Fred Hickman and the Stinger. Mike Glenn. They'll have a look at the Chicago Bulls minus Michael Jordan as the Bulls down 2 games in that series of the Knicks, and hurting Houston. Boy, they got to be hurting after last night, that 20-point lead, losing to Phoenix. Remember, the Houston Oilers blew that big lead to the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, so that's what that's all about, hurting Houston. be a movie title someday as Pack reaches in and fouls Crotty.
Well, and Jerry Sloan is going to reward Crotty. He's playing well. He's got his 2 starters, more veteran players obviously on the bench in foul trouble, but Crotty giving him good minutes, so why not give him a chance to pick up some experience in the event Jay Humphries is not able to go the next game. You know you can count on him in a key situation.
First team foul on the Nuggets. The Jazz with 2 as Chambers will inbound. Field goals this quarter. The Nuggets still haven't found the mark. Crotty.
Not smart.
Forgot that Mutombo was around. He hasn't been playing that much. He forgets Mutombo's always lurking.
But you can't blame Crotty for doing it. You've seen other guys take it in there, and Mutombo do the same thing to them. So that's not something that's going to get you in real big trouble.
That is the total in the ball game of 8 blocks. As now inside the foul.
One of the few times Mutombo has caught the ball and not had trouble hanging on to it. That time he had made up his mind before he got the ball that he was going to take it to the hole. Benoit picks up the foul.
That's the 3rd on David Benoit. Well, Mutombo, such a competitor, and you can imagine how frustrated he's been trying to hang on to the ball tonight. Look at that, altered shots. Not only are we keeping the blocks, we have altered shots.
Well, I think that's a real key because you know what he does as far as blocks is concerned. Here you can see how many shots he changes around, but he has really struggled tonight from the free throw line. 3 of 7 before this next one.
And he's only 1 of 6 from the field, so he has 5 points tonight. So after the 20.10 rebound effort Tuesday, the number's down, but you can see what he's averaging in the playoffs. That's above his season average. He was at 4.1 when he set a season and all-time blocks record for Denver. 84-76, 8:30 left in the ball game. Chambers leaning in on Reggie Williams. Malone tried to follow, but Mutombo beat him to the ball. Denver now needing to get something going offensively. Pack almost traveled with the ball. A little trouble dribbling it.
Ellis has Chambers on his back once again. Let's see if they go to him or they're going to go the other way to try to get Mahmoud a shot.
Stockton getting ready to come into the ball game. Reggie Williams, nice spin move, and he hits it. Reggie Williams now with 16 points.
And Mutombo and Karl Malone got tangled up and talking a lot of trash and gets called down by Ron Garrettson.
Now Hornacek joins Stockton at the scorers table. They'll both be coming in at the first break.
And I think when Crotty leaves the game, you'll see him, or hear him get a very nice round of applause. He's done a good job of running the offense.
Well, he gets an assist there. There's Malone with 30 points in the ball game. 86-78, and Malone.
And a technical foul on David Benoit. A delay of game warning, I think, also against the Jazz as he knocked the ball out of bounds.
Foul charge to David Benoit.
I tell you, Malone has just taken over this ball.
Yes, and he does that so often.
It's the technical on Benoit. Kind of a strange technical. I mean, you're going well, you hit a shot, and all of a sudden all of that unravels, and now Mahmoud will go to the line. It was what he said, obviously. Let's go back and pick up how he got the tee.
Well, you'll see him knock the ball out of bounds here, and then he gets the bump here. I think that's Reggie Williams that gave him a little bit of a bump, and he is complaining to the officials because of that and picks up the technical.
A little emotion there as it's 86-79 now. And they'll bring it the length of the floor. So Stockton and Hornacek come back, both playing with 4 fouls. Crotty got a very good job. Yes, sir. Reggie Williams misses, and Benoit, after that technical, went high for that rebound.
Offense. Malone got Mutombo right in the throat with the forearm. And they've been going back and forth at each other. And I think with a lead like this, Malone can make a little bit of a statement by giving him a little bit extra bump. The problem now, he picks up his 4th personal foul. He's going to have to be careful here. Still a lot of time to go.
Yeah, they have 3 guys on the floor now with 4 fouls. Hornacek, Stockton, and Malone.
3 key players.
86-79. 7:05 left here in this ball game. Mutombo falls down behind Chambers. It's a 3. Mahmoud,
big shot.
a big shot, a huge shot, and it's a 4-point game.
And I'll tell you, because of their defense, never count this Denver team out. They're very good, not only in the middle, but out on the floor as well.
As Dan Issa says, we have character.
You just wonder how many runs they can make to catch up.
Stockton using his strength, takes Mahmoud inside, but Abdul-Rauf comes away the better of it as he has the ball. And it's an anxious moment again for Utah.
Yeah. I'd like to see Ellis get the ball here and see if he can become effective. Now, Mahmoud has been shooting it very well, so they're going the other way.
Malone with a rebound. He just literally knocked LaFonso Ellis out of the play.
The other thing here is...
And look at this. He finishes, he challenges as the big guy, and he has a chance for a three-point play.
Well, he makes the statement again in a productive way. He doesn't pick up the foul. But I said Ellis should get the ball on the other end because Malone has 4 personal fouls. You give Ellis the ball, you might get him into a spit, then he's out of the game, and he can't make plays like this. Running the floor, challenges the big fella, and says, come get it. I am the guy here.
The Jazz by 6, and it's been Karl Malone who has again just carried this ball club.
Well, you know, they're so methodical. You hear all the talk about how predictable they are because you know the ball is going to go to Malone when they need points. But night after night after night, he answers the call, and teams still have not found a way to stop this guy.
What's very impressive is those 32 points following on the heels of a scoreless first quarter. Now, his high in the playoffs this year is 36. His high in the regular season was against this Denver team. He scored 38 points in their last regular season meeting. Chance now for the three-point play.
Boy, and he has not been just effective on the low post. He has stepped out and made some big-time jumpers way out in the floor.
Boy, if you put a shot chart on him tonight, it would be all over, wouldn't it?
Everywhere.
88-82. Utah, 6:07 left in the game. Does Denver have another surge in them? Reggie Williams almost thrown away. Mahmoud with a three. That wasn't close. Ellis tries to track it down. Malone's got it. Out it comes to Stockton. Stockton doing a good job protecting the ball.
He has such a big body, a big upper body, which enables him to hold people off. He gets down there, he just clears people out, and he came up with the loose ball on that play.
Stockton got an underhand toss to Malone. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Benoit. Shot clock expired. Chambers tries to follow. Hornacek, and they've got a fresh shot clock.
And that hurts. That hurts right there. Mutombo went for the block. Got himself in trouble.
Nice pass to Benoit, and Reggie Williams has committed the foul. And for Williams, that'll be his 5th. But what a nice pass that was. Everybody thought he was going to shoot it, and Benoit flashing got the ball inside.
You play with a guy like John Stockton, who is so free to give the ball up. That is contagious. Everyone is always looking for teammates, and even this guy. You know he wants to shoot it. Benoit makes a nice move. Reggie Williams comes over, almost makes the good block on that play.
Steady picks up his 5th foul. Benoit has given this team an emotional lift. He really struggled this year. He started the year with a torn hamstring, out 22 games, then was starting at times. He shot a career low 39% for the field, but he's picked it up in the playoffs, coming into tonight shooting 46%. Gets 1 of 2. 89-82, 5:18 still time left for this Denver team. Because of their defense, they'll stay and hang in there. Reggie Williams going to try to take Benoit, and he doesn't get the roll.
Benoit again with the big rebound.
Stockton surveying the entire floor. Out to Hornacek. Hornacek with a 2. Rebound cleared by Mutombo.
Well, that was a big possession. The Jazz score, and it might be over for the Denver Nuggets.
4:45 left. The Jazz trying to go up 2 games to none before they go to Denver Saturday. LaFonso Ellis short, and we have a foul. And if it's on Reggie or is it on Benoit? It's going to be on Benoit.
It might have been on the shot from the outside. I don't know. You might see Ellis get to the free throw line. As he let the ball go, he got hit on the arm. It came up
That's
short.
what it was, Chambers.
So he'll get a couple free throws.
Tom Chambers picking up his first. Ellis to the line. Now, Ellis tonight is 4 of 8 from the field. He's hit all 6 of his free throws for 14 points.
Still 8 field goal attempts, not nearly enough for this guy. He's got to find a way to get up to about 15 shots a game. That gives him a legitimate chance to get his 20 points, which I think Denver needs for them to win the ball game.
Well, in that first round, he averaged 16 points a game. He had only 7 shots Tuesday, and as you mentioned, 8 tonight. But he's been very good at the free throw line. He's hit all 8 of them.
Karl Malone and Mutombo continue to get mixed up. We'll have to keep an eye on that because that's something that could flame up very quickly there.
89-84, Utah. Malone inside to Hornacek. Hornacek to Chambers. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Chambers hit it.
Tough shot, tough shot.
Especially for a guy that's been struggling with his shooting in the playoffs.
Under a lot of defensive pressure that time, but he's been here before. He knows how to get you points.
91-84 Mahmoud, and that wasn't good either.
You know, you talk shot selection with young teams. I mean, a veteran club like the Jazz can put together a run that can knock you out very quickly.
Right now, they're up by 7.
A score here forces Dan Issel to use up a timeout.
Stockton to Benoit. And here comes the timeout.
You know, you just can't say enough about how important it is for a young team to keep their composure and stay under control. Stockton gets the chance here to get the shot for Benoit. He picks it up, and Dan Issel calls the timeout.
The Jazz trying to go up 2 games to none. 93-84 lead, 3:45. Let's look ahead now. Saturday, that'll be in the afternoon. They'll play Game 3. Game 4 will be there. Jack and I will join you on TNT at 9 o'clock Eastern. Then they, if necessary, would continue back here on Tuesday in Utah. Denver on Thursday, and then wrap it up in Salt Lake City if it goes the full 7 games. They have made 5 of their last 24, and for the game, they're 4 of 11 from three-point land. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf is hurt as they streak down the floor, and Rauf is in pain as the ball was stripped and he's down, and that is a very anxious moment. Jim Gilliam, the Nuggets trainer, asking for permission to come on the floor.
And I don't know if that is a twisted knee or if he bumped knees with someone. I'm not sure, but he is in a lot of pain right now.
Let's go back and see if we can reconstruct here, Goose, as to what happened.
Well, Stockton comes up with the steal. And knee to knee, I think. Actually, he's grabbing his shin, so it might have been Karl Malone's knee to his shin. Fortunately, it is not a knee injury.
Well, while they get him up on his feet, we're going to take a break. 93-84, 3:34 left to go. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf is going to the locker room. His team down 93-84. Let's see, Jack, reconstructing again how he got hurt.
Well, fortunately, he's walking better right now, but if you'll watch as he goes up for the shot here, his knee is going to, his shin will bang with Karl Malone's knee, and I think that is where the incident occurred.
Then they went down the floor. Pack committed the foul. Utah has the basketball. They have the lead. 93-84. Chambers changed the shot. Benoit. He does some things that just electrifies this crowd.
Well, his energy is so important for the Utah team.
That might have been the one that will send the Nuggets to their second loss.
And Pack makes a bad decision on that play, so that's twice in a row now. The Nuggets do not even get a shot at the basket. They're 2 of 11 as it is in this period.
Okay, this Utah team is so good at home. They win tonight. They've won 23 of their last 25 games at home. They've won 9 in a row going back to the regular season. Let's look at the reset. The Nuggets have only 1 timeout left. The Jazz with 4. Neither team has any fouls to give as Brian Stith limping goes to the free throw line. Brian Stith with 4 points in the ball game. Now this guy during the regular season averaged 12.5 points. He has not offensively been able to contribute that much. Remember though, Dan Issel told us he thought he was wearing down at the end of the regular season, and maybe it's carried into the playoffs as well.
Well, you know the injury problem that he had last year. He played in just 39 games. He's played in all 82 coming into the playoffs, so he hasn't had a break here this year. So while rookies, you talk about him hitting the wall, he was going through that this season as the season wore on.
95-86, 2:30 left in the game. Utah now going to take a little time off the clock. And somebody forgot to follow Stockton. And Benoit is going to follow again.
And Dan Issel is saying, whose man is this that keeps getting to the offensive boards?
Well, the scouting report on him is great spring in his legs. That's an accurate report. Here comes Hornacek. And Utah now putting them away. And the Nuggets are going to use their last timeout. Listen to this crowd. Well, this young Jazz fan is loving it. And the Jazz with a 99-86 lead. And David Benoit has just absolutely been enchanting this crowd with his follows. Let's look at one of these.
Well, he's been getting to the offensive boards. And the problem is, I think, Brian Williams is taking Karl Malone on one end, and then that is freeing up Benoit because he and Ellis having a hard time finding the right assignment. Chambers this time on the break, and the Jazz taking advantage of every opportunity.
So Tom Chambers with kind of the clincher, so we're expecting to see Benoit with that slam. Benoit has 12 points and 6 rebounds, and he made a one-hand follow that was spectacular, then came back with a 2, and in this fourth quarter, it's still Malone doing the job, doing the damage to Denver with 8 points, and as we mentioned a moment ago, Denver used their final timeout. Well, the first game, Utah scored 100 points. They're right there again. And remember, this Denver team, very good as far as defensive average is concerned. They were holding teams to 97.7 in the regular season. First time they'd ever held teams below 100 for a season. That ball goes out of bounds. LaFonso Ellis slams it down. The frustration.
And he gets a delay of game warning right there, but I think that is a play of frustration more than anything else. That is why he didn't get the technical foul called against him. It's not going to do any good to nail him this late.
19 turnovers against Denver. And that follows on the heels of 17 the other night that led to 21 points. So they've got to cut those down somehow. But remember this, Denver was down 0-2 to Seattle and went home. Here is Tom Chambers running one-hander. Ellis with a rebound. This Denver team at home was 28-13. Ellis with a 3. That's the reason I think he could be another Karl Malone, because he's got some range the way he can shoot it out there.
He just needs to make sure that he becomes more aggressive and gets a little bit more selfish and put up more opportunities.
Pack with a reach around commits a foul on John Stockton. Well, McNichols Arena will be the site of Game 3. And this Denver team, as young as they are, have played so well at home. They just started playing well on the road in the playoffs, as they had the worst record of any road team in the playoffs. They were 14-27 this year, even though they finished very well, winning 5 of their last 6.
Good to see him back on the bench. Abdul-Rauf probably okay. They'll give him some treatment, and hopefully he will be ready Saturday afternoon.
Pack off the glass. Mutombo tries to follow. Rebound by Malone.
Boy, the Jazz, such a veteran, experienced ball team, and they have taken advantage of that every time the Nuggets have made a run.
Benoit was thinking, let's go to the hole again. Then he said, we better take some time off here. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Stockton to Chambers. Chambers has now gotten the touch back. He's started to shoot well, and that's big for this team. He has 10 points.
Well, he's a key player off the bench. And with the foul problems Felton Spencer sometimes gets himself into, you need an active, involved Chambers on the offensive end. Here he gets the pass and takes it right to Mutombo, forces the foul.
He's 5 of 10 after shooting 28%. And so Chambers in double figures with 10 points. This guy was so good coming off the bench. Led him in scoring 37 times off the bench. 103-89 as we wind it down here in game 2. Ellis and Chambers challenges him and commits a foul. So this Denver team growing up, a team that He's the youngest of the league, the least experienced in the league, a team that no one gave a chance to beat Seattle. They went down 2 games to the Sonics, got back, won 3 in a row. And as Dan Issel has told us many times, Jack, you got to go through these kind of games tonight to take your team to that next level.
Well, they made some adjustments from game 1 to game 2. He got some good minutes out of his big lineup that he wanted to use coming into this ball game. That's Mutombo, Brian Williams, and Alfonso Ellis. They got some good minutes, so they will do that. The thing they have to do is make sure they protect the basketball, understand the value. Now, they don't have a timeout.
No, he didn't. He called a timeout.
So that's a technical
foul. That will be
foul.
a technical. He was trying to save it because he was over the end line.
They don't have a timeout to use, though. So that is going to be a technical foul, and the Nuggets will get it back. Smart play in any other situation, but tonight that's going to penalize them yet again.
Ellis, by the way, missed his first free throw. He had hit 9 in a row prior to that when he has 20 points. Mahmoud has 23. It's Malone with 32, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 other guys in double figures. Then Wall with 12, Chambers 11, Humphries 12, and Stockton with 12. Malone's numbers 14 of 23 from the field, 12 rebounds and 32 points. As Hornacek now will shoot the technical.
Well, they'll get the credit. They'll get the timeout anyway. They just have to pay for it.
So Hornacek doesn't get it. So they'll get the timeout with a penalty. We'll be back in a moment. The Jazz 30.7 seconds from taking a 2-0 lead over the Denver Nuggets with a 103-90 lead. And our tonight's Budweiser player of the game is Karl Malone, 32 points and 12 rebounds, 14 of 23 from the field. And Budweiser will donate $1,000 on behalf of the mailman to the United Negro College Fund.
Well, those numbers sound like an instant replay.
And Mutombo pulled down by Tom Chambers.
Well,
and a little finger point going on now.
I don't understand why Chambers would do that. I mean, the game is over.
And now we have a technical.
Well, why give him something to get fired up for that's going to fuel him for next game? I mean, you have this game over. Let him have the 2 points.
And Mutombo at center of the court was pointing at Chambers, now pointing at the crowd.
But that's just not a smart play as far as Chambers is concerned. Mutombo is going to think about this for a couple days, and when they get it to Denver, you know, the crowd is going to be fired up. They're going to give Chambers a hard time because of it, and it's just fuel that might get this Denver team a win in the next game. I don't know that that would be enough, but it might be something that they can build on.
Ironically, Chambers will shoot the technical free throw.
And that's going to rub it in just a little bit more if he makes it.
He precipitated all this, and then he ends up shooting the technical. Something's not right about that.
Well, it's not, and he, you know, this could have very easily have been a flagrant foul. Look at him pull him down right there, and that's just something that you don't need. And they do give Chambers the flagrant foul. So now he got one in the first series, and his points are adding up as this series goes on.
The fourth one, and you're going to miss a ball game. So now Mutombo, short tail out and all, will have 2 free throws. So the technical on Chambers, 2 free throws for Mutombo. Mutombo picking up the technical and sending his adversary to the other end.
Now, I think Mutombo has not made free throws all night. Now, if he knocks this next one down, he will have made 2 in a row. That's something that he hasn't done. So maybe this will give him something also to think about before game 3.
He's 3 of 8 from the line, 1 of 6 from the field, 5 points. However, 13 rebounds. Last we had him was 8 blocks. That's where it is now, as Mutombo gets that one.
So you just don't want to give a guy something that's going to get him going for the next game.
And he's still jawing to Mike Mathis as he goes off the court now. They take him out of that. That's a wise move by Dan Issel. Getting Mutombo out, and look at Mutombo. Back with 17 seconds to Brian Williams, who hammers it home.
And Chambers backs off that time.
10-point game, 15 seconds left. Hornacek, they trap him. He gets rid of it to John Crotty, who's checked in.
Well, if I'm Crotty, I'm going to put it up. And he brings it out. Smart play. Smart play. Don't rub it in.
And so, Utah wins it. 104-94. They lead this best-of-7 Western Conference Semifinal 2-0, led by the mailman with 32 points. And so Jerry Sloan and Phil Johnson, the brain trust for Utah, will get ready to go to the Mile High City for Game 3 against the Denver Nuggets. And we're going to talk to a guy who caused a lot of excitement here tonight. David Benoit, who had 12 points, 6 rebounds in the ball game. And David, you had this crowd on their feet. I love the one-hand follow.
I just kept going to the basket, just kept going all night, and then finally they just stopped blocking me out, and I was able to get open and get a couple of putbacks.
Jerry Sloan was saying that you've really given the Jazz an emotional lift, the way you play with such emotion.
Well, I try to do that and get my teammates going. Anything, whether it's a steal, put back, a dunk, a fast break, it doesn't matter, block shot, anything, just to get the guys going.
David, as we talk about your season overall, we have to mention the fact that you got off to a slow start primarily because of the injury. You missed 22 games or so. You didn't shoot the ball well during the regular season. Here in the playoff, your percentages is up and your minutes have increased. You've been a key part of this run for the Jazz.
Yeah, this has been a long season for me, and I did get out to a slow start, and injuries doesn't help at all, so just being able to, to come back and contribute the way I have. I'm just having a great time right now.
So often the importance of the bench is overlooked when you talk about this team, and you're showing once again that you guys are a key part of what the Jazz do night in and night out.
Yeah, when you got me and guys like me and Tom coming off the bench, Jay Humphries, we just coming in to contribute and do anything possible to help the ball club, because especially when they need that lift. At that certain time, when you give them that lift, the guys just get going, and the crowd is up, and it's rock and roll time.
Well, David, it was interesting. Malone ends up with 32 points. He didn't even score in the first quarter, but it just seemed like he took this game over. He's done it so many times. You've seen that so many times.
He had a slow start at the beginning of the ball game, and at halftime he told us, he said, well, guys, I kind of let you down in the first half, but I'm going to pick it up, and I expect you guys to contribute. So that's the outcome of the basketball game right now. So it's a nice victory.
That's right, and you're headed to Denver. We'll see you there.
All right.
Good game.
David Benoit with the 12 points and 6 rebounds as the Jazz win it by 10. Let's go to Atlanta now, and here's Ernie Johnson.
All right, thank you, Gary. So Utah up 2-0. They go back to McNichols Arena for the next 2 games. The big question, will John Elway be doing that let's get ready to Mutombo thing? We'll see this weekend when the series continues. All the highlights come your way on Inside the NBA with Fred Hickman and Mike Glenn. That's next on TNT. Earlier tonight in Game 1 of our doubleheader, you saw the Atlanta Hawks beat the Indiana Pacers 92-69. That's 69 points, an NBA all-time playoff low by the Pacers, breaking the old mark of 70. Tomorrow night, we're back at you with another doubleheader. New York at Chicago. Knicks with a 2-0 lead as they go to Chicago Stadium, and then it's Houston down 2-0 and having to go to America West to take on the Phoenix Suns, who have yet to lose in the postseason. And here tonight, you saw Utah take a 2-0 lead. We'll send you back to Gary and Goose right after this.
Jazz leading this series now 2-0 with a 104-94 victory here in the Delta Center. Jack, we were just talking while we were away. One thing you have to say about Utah, they are so smart. They play so brilliantly.
And you can tell mainly when the game gets so tight and the decisions that they make, the fact they don't turn the ball over, the fact they get shots for the people who need to shoot the basketball. Karl Malone, the #1 guy, of course, but they get good shots every time out. Now, for Denver, very quickly, if I'm Dan Issel, I'm telling them, look, guys, they didn't blow us out. Again, they win by 10 points. We turn the ball over down the stretch. If we just protect the basketball, take good shots, we can beat this team.
They're never going to solve the mailman. He'll be there. He is so consistent. Yes. So tonight, a 104-94 victory. As you look at the shooting, look at this, dead even.
Yes, the shooting percentage is even as you look at it right there, but the real key, the bench scoring, the Jazz came up big there with Benoit and with Chambers and with Humphries, giving them the numbers that they need.
And you see in the third quarter, the Nuggets not shooting well. They were 4 of 11 from three-point land, and the Jazz were their 5th straight playoff win as they extend their franchise record. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern, Game 3 of the New York-Chicago series, followed by Game 3 of Houston-Phoenix. Then join us Sunday as Goose and I will be in the Mile High City for Game 4 between Utah and Denver. Mark this time down. Starts at 9 o'clock.